There we go. Make sure this is muted. Okay. Now we wait for the latency to catch up with us. It looks like it's working. This is Maddie. Um and this is Kit. He's on vacation. And we also it's just me this week, so I had to find something to fill in that blank of because the actual image of the frame has blank spaces. So I had to find something, man. Um, Welcome to our Q&A. We also have our lovely patron members here, as well as our mod Gremlin, who are open to speak as often and as loud as they want to. Just let me know in the comments if their audios or my audio is unbalanced, because I had to shuffle those. Can one of you say something just to see if they can hear you?
Hello.
Did you hear someone else mysteriously say hello off screen? Can we wait? Um, okay,
Maddie, that
I
picture
heard,
that you
yep.
picked for Kit is perfect.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Spectacular.
When I'm having a bad day, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, the world's okay. Let me
Resting clever face. Wow, that's bruh. The machine is savage.
I sent it to him with no context. Oh, yeah, you'll see a little bit of Discord. I didn't have time to figure out the like digital camera thing that Kit does, so I'm actually just like sharing the screen of Discord. So if you see something random happen on my screen, that's why. So yeah, now that we know the stream works and I managed to get it working, we're all here. Anyone have any questions? Comments? Concerns? He's not here. You don't have to be afraid of him anymore.
Ooh,
Now's the
I've got
perfect time to
a
talk about him.
humdinger of a question for you.
Oh yeah, now is the perfect time to talk about him. What was the question?
Uh, if you had to pick, would it be Digimon or Pokemon?
I've never actually played Digimon, so it'd have to be Pokemon.
Ah,
I'm assuming from your reaction that's the wrong choice for you.
no, it's not so much just the wrong choice. It's just that like I think both of them are great, but it's just like the fact that you didn't get a chance to do any of the Digimon stuff.
Okay, I
Just
barely got to play
disappointing.
Pokemon. Because I am a girl who grew up right before it became acceptable to be a nerd. So I had to steal my brother's Game Boy, and I deleted his Pokemon game because he never played it. And I played it secretly in the closet. It was like years later before he actually got mad about it. Which, if it took him that long to notice, then I don't regret anything.
Fair.
Um, are you coming to Pensick this year? We tried to figure out how we could, but no. Because the Conquest and Pensick take place in a very similar time frame, and this year they overlap so significantly that we genuinely cannot fly back in time. Um, why is Kit frozen? Oh, he's just living his best life. I think I can turn off ads. Because I saw someone complaining about them.
Okay, again, so I just watched that 50,000 sub live stream last
Uh-huh.
night, the replay, and the picture you have up just makes me think that was Kit's face after the camera turned off.
I don't even remember where that's from. But yeah, that's pretty much like the torment that you see in that video is very genuine. Like I almost threw up, and Kit was in genuine. Like we had to go get um like significant amount. We had to go get Pepto-Bismol after, and then like fries from Wendy's to try to settle our stomach. Because his was like heartburn from he got all the spicy ones and I got all the gross ones. Not even planned. It just continuously happened. Those things are awful. Like you think it's bad when you take a bite of a gross one. They're like, "Oh my God, so they're so funny. They're reacting. They're overreacting." No, I was gonna vomit. Oh, I even just the memory of some of those. Um,
That's why there hasn't been another live stream celebration.
uh, also because flights are expensive. I don't know. It's mostly just because we've been so busy that every single time we've planned a live stream, it's usually kind of last minute. We're like, you know what we should do? We should do a live stream. Yeah, I'll get a ticket. I'll fly up. We'll do a live stream. And we've been so busy that we don't even have the space to have that moment where like we should do a live stream. But I really want to be doing them more. I mean, I say that in the middle of a live stream, but I mean like the fun ones. Not saying this isn't fun, but like they don't involve like spicy gummy bears or me putting a pumpkin on his head, which I never actually got to do. Because he looked at no, he got the pumpkin on his head. I just didn't like. There's something I didn't do. I know he looked at me with fear in his eyes and said no. I think it was the pumpkin. Yeah, because I wrapped him in toilet paper and then I went to go put the pumpkin on his head and he just looked at me. He was like,
I
"Hello."
remember one of those first Halloween live streams, just the minutes upon minutes of just him constantly having to bounce on one leg as you cackled maniacally in your little window in a window as you kept spinning the little wheel. I'm just like, ah, that poor bastard.
Yeah, that's what I think was my favorite one so far. Mostly because I didn't have to suffer at all. It was mostly just me being the manipulator of his suffering, which was very funny. Um, I've seen a few comments about the audio potentially being a little bit quiet. I can try to turn it up. Um, is it my audio or is it their audio? Because their audio is a little bit dependent. They each have like independent audios. Um, anyway, I can try to make us louder. I'm not gonna make us louder to the point that we start peaking though. I'll keep an eye on it. Both with theirs
Paladin has a
being
pretty good question.
well, I know, let me scroll back up because I know I missed some. I don't know how far Paladin was up. What Kit's
Paladin
scrolling.
says, I want to start crafting, but time is very limited. Which skill do you think might have the most practical use to start with? Leatherworking, stitching, woodworking, or something else?
Mm, I have to think about that. The one that I found that fit most easily into my life was actually bookbinding. Um, it really depends on whether you would want to make your own books or if you have like reason for them. But like that was something that it's very easy to do and it's just like stitching. So anything like that would be super easy. Um, I'm bad because I've always been the kind of person that gets obsessed with certain hobbies and then immediately like learns way too much about them and then moves on to something else. Um, I don't know. What do you guys
I
think?
think for me, the stitching would be the first one to learn because that's going to help you on the leather side. Woodworking is going to take more skill up front and possible tools.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that. The woodworking is going to be the one that, unless you're doing small figure carving or you have like a mini lathe for doing pens or something, it's going to take up the most space and have a high cost of entry. Any kind of cloth or yarn or stitching related thing,
They're very
that's something
accessible.
that very accessible, usually low barriers to entry, also low space requirements as well.
Like I learned to knit pretty easily. A lot of people crochet. It doesn't take much space. Embroidery is surprisingly easy. And you can embroider your day-to-day clothes, and it's just something you can sit and do while like you listen to something else. Um,
Yes, anything that you could do like idly with your hands while you're doing something else.
mm-hmm. Let's see. How's the crow design going? I haven't really worked on it since we worked on it yesterday. I don't really know what to add for it. I've looked around for things online to see like how I could source the different pieces. I'll hopefully have an update by at least next week because I'm running out of time for getting this stuff. Um, I couldn't find like the core set like the that I was really looking for, but I did find a pattern that looked exactly like what I wanted, but I don't know how to sew. So I don't know how that's gonna. Every single LARP in the past has always been like me rushing sewing stuff until the very last minute, and I'm not sure I want to repeat that. Um, have you ever made something so real you got in trouble at a fair or a LARP session, like a role play thing? Um, yes, kind of. Uh, I've been role playing for a very long time and I've been DMing for a very long time, so I'm very comfortable with like high emotion things, and a lot of times other people aren't. And there are things in LARP to like you're supposed to use if you're uncomfortable in a situation, but I find that most people either forget them or don't feel comfortable in interrupting the scene, um, or like kind of force themselves to go through it. But so like there have been times when I've gotten into like in character political debates with people or like in character arguments or something, and then afterwards had them come to me and be were like, yeah, you were a little harsh there, or like not even harsh, but like I don't know. Like sometimes people take stuff seriously or take stuff personally. Um, but in the end, it's like that's kind of the expected role play in that area, and it's someone's responsibility to protect themselves emotionally with the tools given, because no one there wants to hurt anyone. And if anything, like it makes me feel uncomfortable if people don't use those, because then I don't want to hurt anyone, and I'm kind of expecting someone to tell me if they don't like if something gets a little too like um I don't know, like heated for them, because everyone has different like boundaries and different expectations, different like levels of comfort. But yeah, like I've had people afterwards, even like I've had people afterwards, even like after they told me they were okay with the hand signals, be like, no, I wasn't okay. And I'm like, what was I supposed to do? Uh, yeah, sometimes I didn't really get in trouble for it, but like, I think like it would have been better if those people had, for their own comfort, used the symbols in like the way they're supposed to. Um, bu- 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 those little round pieces you get after you punch a hole in leather. How could you use those in a LARP? So those have been a thing for the entirety of the channel. I don't like which of you guys like have considered this. Because I know it's been a question that people continuously ask us, which is like those little, like when you punch leather, you're left with those like little holes, like those little circles that come out. And you end up with a bunch of them whenever you're making any sort of project. And people always want to um, figure out how to not waste them or something to do with them. So what I've seen is very much like making like a pincushion, um, like gluing them on as decoration, but it's like like a filling them for bags. The comments are like, I've been sewing longer than Maddie's been alive. And it's like, she's a baby. That's not hard. Poke holes in them and use them as beads. That's a good idea. If you made Bale a Pokemon, what would his special attacks and weaknesses be? We still have to make Bale a Pokemon card. For some reason during Conquest, I'm pretty sure we mentioned in the video, but whenever we saw Bale, it became like a reoccurring. They were like, Bale, 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 like a Pokemon. And he would always do like a dance towards us, like a Pokemon, like as if he was a Pokemon, like coming towards us. So we were gonna make him a Pokemon card and bring it back next year. And I've got like a month. You know, laminate a couple together, you might get something interesting. Maybe. Did I miss any questions? Hello. I don't know, man. Like, at least the design one I had the design to talk about. I feel like it's weird not having Kit here. I think there was one stream that I left Kit alone because I had dinner plans with a friend. And afterwards he's like, it's weird not having someone to bounce off of because you just kind of exist. I feel like Maddie needs a fake beard to make some of these magnificent. So yeah, so you can't see them on the stream, but all of the patron members that are and Graham that's currently in our chat, they all have magnificent beards. I have hair in a different way, okay? I can be magnificent in my own way.
There's a reason nobody's ever seen Maddie's back live before. I'm just saying.
Oof. Wow. How dare.
Eric,
Sorry,
you're an amazing
that one
human
was
being.
I
Oh,
know. Sorry, that was a bad one.
Graham, I can't scroll down to see the people in the audience. Do you think that you could invite them if they're, I think it's
Yep.
journeyman or above? They can raise their hand to potentially get put in, and I can improve it like that. Yeah, I can invite you to speak that way. I didn't know there was people.
I think they're all high enough.
If you are, although I think only journeyman or above can actually join the channel. I don't know. If you are a journeyman or above, like feel free to ask to be on the thing.
We got a baby epic beard, Yuri.
This is almost as much hair as I can physically grow. It doesn't get any better than this.
It's currently 94 degrees and feels like 115 in South Florida. So if I get any further than this, it's basically wearing a sweater on my face.
Wait, both you're in Florida. I don't know if I can handle that.
I can't see all the faces that are joining because I can't scroll down. So what Kit does is he creates like a virtual camera, which he has both Discord and OBS pull from. Because you can't split your camera to two different places at once. I didn't have time to figure that out, so I'm screen capping the Discord, which means I can't move that screen. All right. Does any of the newly joined people have questions? Or want to introduce themselves or just talk in general? It is your right.
Chainmail.
Chainmail
Guy. Chainmail.
Chainmail. Today's just the Pokemon stream. Yeah, we have to
say
event.
I sent Clever several bags of anodized aluminum rings a while back, so he's got pretty stuff to work with.
No, I have to make it for him. That's the only way he's gonna do it.
He's been waiting for us to make chainmail videos for so long. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make you chainmail. I'm gonna send you chainmail, and you're gonna do like one ring. You're gonna show people it's done, and then you have the chainmail. Because every time people ask Kit to do chainmail, he's like, no, it takes too long. I did it once. That's enough.
Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of our projects have to be something that either like sits in the background, like Mead, even though that's never gone well, or can be done in a weekend. And I think if he tried to do a thing of chainmail in a weekend, he would end up with like arthritis. Um, mm, 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 mm. What is your favorite
So,
color?
Maddie,
I can answer that one real fast. It's orange. It used to be red, but I'm leaning toward orange. What was that, Dragon?
so there's a lot of comments about how does it feel to finally have a seat,
It feels
a
real
chair.
good. Like I can lean back. My legs are like comfortably crossed. I'm lounging. Like I feel like I've taken the position of that stereotypical like lazy powerful king. Like 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 one elbow on one, just kind of
One
like
leg propped up on the other.
yeah. Um,
When the fox is away, the crow will play.
when the fox is away, I finally get a perch. Um,
Yep.
um, da-da-da-da-da-da. His special attack is making him wait. You wait for him, and then he never shows up. Ooh, burn! Yeah, Bale gets busy, so sometimes Bale bails.
Bail. That's a special
Bail.
move.
It's
He
a special
bails.
move. Bail.
Yep.
Um,
Effective.
100% guarantee escape.
mm,
Okay, so I just want
a
to
lot
point
of
out that
chainmail
last
stuff.
month,
Huh?
yeah, a lot of chainmail stuff. But last month I put out a call to challenge people to join me in the Grandmaster ranking, and now we have two other Grandmasters here in the chat. So I'm just going to say that we need more people to be Grandmasters. So Maddie and Kit can do this full time, and I could get my selfish want of having more videos.
Or, master or apprentice even. Just throw in some dollars.
The dragon doesn't play. He's like the top or nothing.
No,
He's
see, the
like
tops were like,
we're aiming for full time here.
here's an idea though. All the Grandmasters get a D&D session with Maddie and Kit and Grim.
So I am
Yeah,
looking
I've been
into
working on
that.
that for a month.
That was what
I'm
we
with you.
talked about
I'm
in our
on board.
chat.
I will say that my favorite part of the recent episodes when he thanks the Grandmasters is hearing
all the
trying to
different ways
pronounce my
he tries
name.
to pronounce your name. Yeah.
So good. I was just like, good
How do you
God.
pronounce your name?
I honestly don't even want to tell you at this point. It
It's
just
like
makes it so much
Yurishiro, right?
Ori Sakura.
Oh, we were so wrong.
I know, but it
You've
was
told
so
us
good.
once and we immediately forgot.
I think I sent when I was talking to him like in like Instagram. I think I sent it to him phonetically, or one of you phonetically, because he was like, "How do you pronounce it?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like this," and then forever gone. But please don't, because like it's so much fun to like listen.
I'm just gonna tell him
to
he's pronouncing it wrong, but I'm not gonna tell him the right way.
Fantastic.
There you go.
That way he tries a different way every time. If it amuses you so, I'll be like, just keep trying. He likes it.
So
Oh, that'd be great. Just running gag in the comments of YouTube. We just see the comments like getting closer and nothing else.
I had a buddy who's a big fan, and didn't realize that I was a Patreon member.
Because we never say your name right.
And so like he saw a recent episode and he was like he usually watches and like is like doing things. He's like
Mhm.
he paints minis and stuff like that. So he'll have it in the background kind of thing. And he'll be like, and Clem will be like, a big shout out to Froggy Dragon and your Shishara. And it was like, and he like looked up and he was like, nah, and just like kept going back to what he was doing.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you a secret. I've already forgotten how to pronounce it.
That is perfect. That is exactly
I
what I
can't
wanted.
even tell. Luckily, this is recorded, but I'm not gonna tell him to watch it. It doesn't even
Yeah,
matter. We'll watch it. We'll hear it. We'll be like,
yeah,
yes, I get it now, and then we'll turn around
almost
and with
there.
object
Yeah.
permanence, it's just gone. I don't know why. Just we cannot. We've tried so many times, and it just always slips from our brain the correct way to
That's perfect.
pronounce it.
Just
Honestly,
with my real name instead of causing
yeah.
any more confusion.
I was considering just changing it to however the hell he's pronouncing it on Patreon.
You should change it every week.
It's
Oh
like,
no.
oh man, just to dick with him. Good lord.
Oh, that'd be super funny. He's like, we're getting a bunch of people just come in and leave. What happened to all of our like?
It's the same guy. Oh, I might have to do that.
Yeah,
See how
just
long
keep
it takes
changing
him
your
to
names.
realize. It's
Yeah.
just like this one looks familiar.
Hang on a minute,
Not
It's
sure
the same
why.
address that we're shipping all this stuff to.
right?
Uh, um.
Or
So
Kit, he's gone for a single day, and everybody immediately starts plotting against him.
that's
He's
just
just
the
like
way it should
completely
be,
shitting
man.
on
I've been
He's
plotting against him for like 6 years.
I was gonna say it
it's
didn't
very
take
easy
hard.
to
Yeah.
plot against him. He's very like
He's
plot
plottable.
againstable. I was gonna say
Mhm.
plottable, but like I don't feel like that fully captures. He's plot againstable.
Plot againstable works better, I think. Yeah.
um. Let's see. Someone was asking me about Bird of War armor. So yesterday when we did the design stream, we were talking about how since the very beginning of Skill Tree, I found a design that's it looks like Blue Jay armor. Um, he's texting me why because I sent him the picture I put on the stream with no context. So he's like, but why though? I was like, for
Because you
reasons.
That's
can.
why.
But yeah, like I saw some armor that was like bird themed, and I was like, I want that. He's like, I'll make it for you. Q 5 years later. Uh, so I do have a design that I really want. It's just it's been a dream forever. I pledge my allegiance to the Crow Queen Maddie, and her taking over of Skill Tree. I've always been in control.
We've seen how Kit edits.
I'm curious if you can pick out the videos that he edits versus me, because there are like a couple of them every once in a while. You should leave and come
I do
back,
have
but
to say, I missed the little crow popping up out of the lower left corner with the little,
I,
quirky quips.
I put one in recently. I actually had to go back and find all the assets again, because it had been so long they had got accidentally deleted from our premiere thing. And it's just because like for the past year, like me and Kid have been like balls to the wall with the channel of like barely getting stuff out. Like most of the weeks since like around this time last year, I'm I'm getting the files and I'm finishing the edit on Wednesday. So like I get the edit and I finish it on Wednesday. I normally like the files are done uploading by 5 and then I'm done editing by like 2 and then I just sleep the rest of Thursday. Um but like now that we're starting to get more ahead and I'm starting to come up here to do more projects, like I went back and found my crows again. I added them to one of our ads, I think. Um just because I had something to say and I was like, it'd be fun to do more crows now that I have more time. Because sometimes he just needs correcting. uh
Somebody else on the YouTube stream agrees with me that the little crows are awesome.
Oh yeah,
mhm.
no, I missed him.
The snarky crows, yes.
Like
I think you do.
I was never really sure if people really liked him or if they thought they were kind of like obnoxious.
I think you'd find shorter list of people who don't like them than do.
I'll keep that in mind.
Oh no, they're obnoxious, and that's why we love them.
Now you need to slide the grim in on the other side so we can argue behind Kit's
Oh
back.
yes, the
Oh my
angels
God.
on the shoulder, except for they're
I
both
think
demons.
I think for a while we talked about doing that, of like us being the two people on his shoulder, but then we realized that both of us would just be like shit talking him. There would be no angel.
That's the fun. That's the amusement.
Mark said I liked the coin video earlier. Yeah, what did you guys think of the coin video?
Pretty good.
To be honest, I woke up, rolled out of bed, and got onto the live stream. I have not seen it yet.
So I finally convinced Kit to try to make coins to make a mint, and he exploded it.
Were you there for
Smashed
the
you with a sledge.
for the hammering?
No, he did it the week before. So I actually can go. I have the half of the mint that is still exists. I can go show you
Nice.
guys. Entertain them while I'm gone, Patreon people.
How many of you guys played D&D before?
Yes.
Yeah, I literally have several D&D tattoos.
Yeah, I run a game for my coworkers during work hours, and then I have a game for my group of friends. So I have 2 a week now.
Oh,
The quiet
You
one
get to
raised
play
the money,
D&D
too.
during work.
Well, as long
right.
as I mean, I schedule it in such a way that it's usually during a time that's kind of off hour, etc. But it's usually around 3 o'clock or so on a Friday. And I always use I always have an invite. The invites always sound very, very official,
The
like
video was mint.
team building and strategy initiatives.
You know, I
So
think
you're getting paid to play D&D.
As long as they don't find out, exactly.
I'm here for it.
I think he actually already glued like half of it back on, because there's like bits of glue, and it looks like a square, which I'm pretty sure it didn't before. But yeah, he he couldn't figure out within the weekend to do all the things that he wanted to do, so he ended up just making the mint out of wood, because he's like, I don't have time to figure out how to make it metal. And I'm like, okay, I don't think that's gonna work. And it didn't. It exploded. But like, I think that's definitely a video that we'll have to revisit, mostly because I'm obsessed with coins and I'm not satisfied. Um, I think the he didn't harden the dies, so then they kind of warp when you hit them. You're supposed to, like, he could have softened the brass beforehand and then rehardened it. And also the dies weren't deep enough, and also the mint exploded. But I want to make coins. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it, but it's been a thing for a while. Um, I need to get to the point where we could at any point easily make coins, and then I will be satisfied. I don't know
Well,
why
because
that's a
then you can
thing
do
with
that
me.
really cool when you're paying someone, just like very cavalierly, like chuck a leather purse at them, and it's like, for your services.
Yeah, it actually is worth something. It's just find a place to spend it. Don't spend it all at once. Uh,
Surprisingly, the crow needs shiny things.
I know, maybe that's why. I need the ability to mass produce shiny things. I was given the option.
Here, I'll exchange shiny things for mead.
Ooh, I could probably give you one of the coins. Wait, you're
Do you
taking
want
shiny things.
orange?
You're taking shiny things away from me? I guess mead is shiny in its own way.
But mead.
You
I
gotta
mean,
work
this is a
something
very
in.
pretty red.
It is.
What are
You
the
gotta work something in
flavors?
with the flipping the coins so that one side's crow, one side's fox, so that
Well,
you can just make decisions who's gonna do it.
oh, like
And then
yeah,
make
like
sure
the
you
one
have a
side.
coin that's double-sided.
The
Two
duality
crows.
of
But that's the
skill
thing.
tree.
You can never let Kit flip a
No,
coin
it's
to decide a
orange.
thing. He knows how to cheat it.
Yep.
Oh,
He had a whole video about that.
I know. I'm just warning you for the people who don't know that. Let's see. We missed any questions? Let's look. 5
What
years
does
in
your
count.
shirt say? Was one of them.
It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Background's on fire.
That's my life. So I was like, I resonate with that shirt. Also, I had to get more, since I'm making videos now, I realized that I needed to get more nerd shirts because all of my nerd shirts are starting to get worn out. Because I had the Dungeons and Dragons shirt subscription, so I'd get one every month. But those wear out. Like they don't like the designs kind of peel off and stuff. So
Like just ironed on.
I guess so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Screen printing.
Yeah.
Speaking
So
of Dungeons and Dragons shirts, for the folks in the chat, see if anybody recognizes this.
Old school.
Oh, that's the original D&D cartoon. That's amazing.
did you see that in
Yep.
the 5.5 what is it, the player's handbook or the Dungeon Master's Guide? They put the villain of that.
That's amazing.
Avenger.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll see like what kind of lore they give him, or if they're just gonna drop that there and then let people wonder. Let's see. 5 years and counting. Yeah, we've been running this channel for a while. I think I met Kit in either like 2018. And then he started running the channel not soon after. And then immediately I had to start helping him run the channel because it is a lot more work than he expected. Have you seen
So it
Godzilla
was
minus?
originally Kit's idea, the channel.
Yeah, no, it was so he actually went to college for like film and media and stuff, and then he got out of college and there was no work in that, so he went into construction and like became a carpenter and got really into crafting. He's always really loved crafting. But he got to the point in his life where he's like a lot of us, where you can't really force yourself to finish things or like take the time to actually learn stuff, and he wanted to do something creative, so he's like, I'll make a YouTube channel, that way like there's a little bit of expectations that force me to do a thing. He started off with like vlogs, only got like 2 of those before he gave up on that because he ended up just crafting in every one of them, so he's like, I'll just make a craft video, a craft channel. The vlog still exists somewhere on the Patreon, I think. But then I think he got like 7 videos into the crafting before he stopped existing as a person, with as a friend. Like he stopped having time to socialize and stuff. And I was like, what's going on, bro? And then I offered to help if he taught me editing, and it's been a downward slope ever since.
That's the trick. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you.
Oh yeah.
Why? So that they offer to help?
Exactly. They're it's like no. Listen, I've got the skills. Just give it to me. I got it.
Yeah, what you gotta
just give it.
do is like it's called the wife's trick, which is if
Yeah.
like you ask a husband, oh, can you put up that painting for like the 6th time? Then you just start doing it yourself, but you do it poorly to the point that they get frustrated and then they do it.
Mhm.
There you go.
Uh,
You know what? 5 years later, and here you are.
yep.
Weaponized incompetence.
Weapon. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get much
So
chance.
speaking of nerd shirts, everybody out there needs to know that 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 Skilltree has shirts, and I've gotten a couple of these shirts, and they are super comfortable and awesome. So everybody should go buy Skilltree shirts too.
Dragon, we should just
They
hire you
are
for a marketing
actually.
turn, for a marketing team. I feel like every time you're on the Q&A, you're like, by the way, did you know they have
We have
merch?
merch.
I was actually very surprised at how soft and comfortable they were because I got one for myself and for my wife. And I'm like, these are going to be like Hanes, 100% cotton, like just kind of like expecting very run of the mill stuff. And like, yes, promoting, but yeah, like they're really nice.
Yeah, I spent
They are so comfortable.
I probably spent like a week researching which company was the best for the print by demand, which shirts that they offered were the best within them, and then which specific print providers that made those shirts did it the best. And then we turned off, so they have an ability, a thing where if there's another print provider who can do it faster or cheaper near you, which doesn't affect you at all. Like, if it was cheaper to make, the price would be the same for you. It would just, we'd get more profit out of it. But we turned that off because I didn't want to risk it going to a print company that was lower quality. Because I had done enough research. I was like, I know these work. We're gonna stick with these. And maybe it'll take 1 day extra shipping, or maybe it'll be like 50 cents more expensive for us. But we've always, that's why we turned off our merch for so long, is because we got disappointed with the quality of the original place we had it on. And we'd rather have no merch than to have bad merch. Anyway, that was my merch rant.
So
you for coming on my TED
Survival's
Talk.
wife came on Survival's account just to say hi to Maddie and Clever.
Survival's. This is Survival Awesome. It's his wife. I just wanted to say hi to Matt and Clever. Hello.
I'm trying to help you keep up with the chat. I don't know. I just decided that I was staff, I guess.
Let me quickly scan for. I think I left off at Godzilla -1. No, I've not seen it. Is one lawful, the other chaotic? Do you mean like me and Kit? In which case, I think we're both. I'm more lawful than him, I guess. Like in the sense that I'm more organized, but I think we're both
I
pretty
think it's
solidly
talking about
chaotic.
you and Grim on his shoulder.
Oh, I am
Oh.
definitely chaotic.
Oh yeah, then he's definitely the chaotic one, and I'm definitely the lawful one. Can y'all make more LARP weapons? We want to in the future, yeah. It's gonna be part of the Tinker line. It's gonna be like electronics, foam, and kind of like anything that fits into like prop making. Wash your shirt and graphical nonsense. Drop the clever pigments and make it.
If you're not careful, Dragon, you're going to be Maddie's assistant before too long.
He thought about hiring me.
If I had the time, if I had the time, I would love to do that. But I'm running my own business and still working full time too. So
I feel
Hey,
that.
I have an assistant. Why doesn't Maddie?
I feel like Callie's been assisting me quite a lot. I'm gonna steal her from you. Jeffrey said hello, no question, just wanted to say hi. I want merch, but I have to save up. We try to make it as cheap as possible. With like buffer for like shipping and stuff. Weaponizing comment is why everyone fills out your spreadsheets wrong. Damn it! I knew it!
Yeah.
That's why they do it. There's everything's labeled. It's so easy. Coin merch. Yeah, we want to. We keep talking.
the coins that you sent out to us, the coins that you sent out to us are so crazy cool.
Right?
Absolutely love them.
They are astoundingly beautiful. Yeah, it's.
I only have I only have a blank one.
They're great.
But like, I'm obsessed with coins. The only issue I would have with the ones that we made you is that the designs can feel a little sharp. Although I don't know if that's just the tester that Kit has. Yeah, no, they're gorgeous. I remember the first time that we played with it and we made that, and we're like, hold up. We're like, wait a minute. Because like we didn't even have to play with it that much to make the first coin. If you watch the video where we play with the Omtech laser, we're like, we can do that just on a whim now. And ever since then, every opportunity he gets, Kit wants to play with the laser. He's like, I made this thing.
Here's an idea.
Oh, that is so how I was when I got my laser.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an idea, though. You can make a sigil ring for the skill tree.
So, for our conquest camp, Callie is gonna be one of our camp admins. So me, her, and Kit are gonna get signet rings, and we're gonna engrave them with our own unique symbols, so that we can like stamp into wax seals and send people out like with like missives and stuff. Basically mark them as being official from our camp. So we'll be able to test it out there. But yeah, like some things that we're thinking about wanting to make is like signet rings. It'd be really easy to make wax seals because those are typically like brass or bronze. That's a softer metal. Um, what else is there? Oh, like we could make leather stamps because those are, oh, is it brass leather stamps that are really popular now, or yeah, brass, I think.
Yeah, brass ones.
Yeah, we could make.
Brass heats up, so you could actually heat it up and make the imprint a little bit darker too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the laser's expensive. No lie. But we also, like the one we got was a really high wattage. Everything that it does works just a little bit slower for the lower wattages.
Yeah, I'm actually in the market for looking at a more high-end laser engraver because right now I'm working off of a 20-watt diode, and it works for like cutting out leather and putting images on leather. But I'm looking at maybe doing some other stuff too. So that OMTech one looks so sexy.
So the fiber laser is not like, it's more metal than leather, but Omtech does have a lot of like leather of CO2 lasers. The CO2 would be the best for leather. It's like the step up from diode, but it's still of a wavelength that cuts leather well. I'm not sure if you've heard this tip because me and Kit recently learned it and it changed our lives. You can wet leather before you laser it, and that means you don't have to like put tape on it to stop it from burning. We just learned that.
Yeah, I'm still working with the X Tool D1 Pro, the 10 watt, and like every time I see like the 20-40 watts come up in the market for sale, I'm just like, I really need to find a reason to justify this expense.
Yeah,
So
Omtech does have like a really like decent spread, and I can tell you from at least the laser we use, like it seems like quality. If not, then we have the CO2 from, I forget what the brand is, but I can check, and we know that one works great.
I use the We Create 20-watt.
Uh-huh.
um, and it's working well. Like it'll cut out my leather. Even wetting it still has some char, so I use one of the buffing wheels on my Dremel
Uh-huh.
to get all the char off the sides, and I usually have it just mark my stitching holes, and then I manually punch out the stitching holes.
So like I went to one leather class, and like for anyone who does like leather stuff and has a laser, like you can so easily give a class to everyone. Like he had a pattern and he had the laser cut out like 50 of them, and he taught us how to stitch leather. By like it cut out all of the stitch holes, it cut out the patterns and everything, and he just gave us all a piece of leather and we stitched up the sides, and he charged us $120 each.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing for all my keychains.
Uh-huh.
In one pass I could cut out 6 of the dragon head keychains and
Mm-hmm.
4 just regular like keychain blanks. I dye them, treat them, sew them together, and I've probably made 40 of them just in my spare time between shifts at work this week.
Yeah, no, the lasers are, so everyone kind of thinks of it's like a trend right now to buy a laser to kind of do the more generic lasering stuff, but once you kind of step in, like be a little bit creative in the way that you use it and apply it to different things other than just kind of like engraving someone's name on wood, um, they're like super powerful as a crafting tool. Um, like just the ability to cut out patterns in leather like that, or like also add a design. Um, the CO2 that we have has like it can do curved surfaces. The fiber laser can do 3D like engraving. I don't know, man. Like we keep finding stuff that we can potentially do for the fiber laser. We're thinking of starting to try to engrave metal armor with it.
Ooh.
Hmm. I'm it's just I'm just seeing a bunch of people post about signet rings.
Gotta get Kit that
Signet
vision.
rings have to be a thing.
Oh, we'll test them for the Conquest one, and if it seems like something that we could do, and just get like a bulk order of different sizes. The problem with something like rings is like it's hard to keep them in stock because there's so many different sizes.
Could do it as a Patreon tier, like if you're a 5-month Grandmaster or something, be like a special milestone.
Well, we could keep it on the store. The patrons would probably, if you're like a Grandmaster, you guys get free merch anyway. So like, whenever we make something new that's cool, you guys will probably just get one. We'll be like, hey, what's your ring size?
10 at 10. Just putting it
Yeah.
out there. That size 10.
Let me take a note of that.
Bro got small hands.
I'd have to get a sizer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
very-
what
very
the
often.
size of my. I know I have tiny hands. I have little baby hands that.
Grim's
From
over
what
here
I've
with a
seen of your
13 and
hands, you'd
a
be
half.
about a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I think I'm around like a 6 or a 7. When I did measure them. Let's see.
Because your hands are about the same size as mine.
Yeah, I think. Are you the person that I compared hands to when we were having
Yes.
like a conversation about people with small hands?
Yeah.
Someone posted Omtech's currently having a sale. I'll look. Cause like it's genuinely a thing that we sought them to be our sponsor because they're like in the research that I did, I wanted a fiber laser because I wanted to make coins. The obsession goes deep. So I did a lot of research and I reached out to them. Ironically, at the same time as they reached out to us. So like we were like ships in the night. But then I was like, yes, actually. So they're a really good brand. I don't- yeah, they are. They are having a sale. I didn't know how big of a sale, but it is a sale. Let's see. Any questions in the chat? Da-da-da-da-da. 4th of July sale. Okay. So let's look at the CO2 laser.
It's too bad YouTube can't see Ori because he's taking Kit's spot with his whiskey.
Yeah, I like to think that all of all of the people that
Well,
don't
drinking something.
that can't see the Patreon chat, they just have to imagine what everyone looks like. It would be cool if someone like draw out what they think all of you look like.
Fantasy Apprentice wants to know if you have any tips on bookbinding.
I'm actually going to be doing a video on it soon. That's one of the videos that I'm going to be releasing soon. Hey, Kit
Somebody else is
joined.
in the chat.
Yep, I think Kit just saw the picture that you had up.
He had to
The
eventually. I
fun
never
is
answered
over.
him. I never answered him. He had
I
to
mean,
eventually check why I sent him that.
It looks like Kit. I don't see anything wrong.
Yeah, no, that's his normal face.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
seen him
pretty
in
sure I've
person.
seen that
I can't
face.
confirm. Yeah.
I've seen that face several times in videos. So.
Yeah. Outland Station says that all of you are cartoon characters drinking whiskey. That's how they see you.
I'm drinking lemonade, thank you.
I'm gonna say not super wrong.
And so any tips on bookbinding? It's surprisingly easy. It's paper, so it's super easy to get started. It's literally like a needle, thread, and paper. Curved needles help a lot. I don't know, like once you get like you don't have to be super precious about it as you think you do. Like when Kit did his bookbinding video, he's very precious about like making sure everything lined up and like folding them individually one at a time, making sure they're perfectly like everything lined up and it's so perfect, which is like it makes a really good final product, but you don't have to. Things kind of end up shuffling into being pretty even on their own. It's good to start with waxed thread because it's bigger and it's less likely to tangle. So you can see more of what you're doing. Now people are greeting Kit. Down with the fox, hail the crow!
Long live the queen.
Long live the queen. How does it feel to
And
sit in
now
a
we all
chair
got
instead of a
quiet
ball?
because we know Kit's there.
How does it feel to sit in a chair instead of a ball? It feels amazing. I've actually been having back problems recently, so it's nice to feel supported for once.
All that weight and pressure, huh?
Yeah, all that expectation and pressure on me. It's really starting to crunch the spine. Hi from Sweden. I
If
just
somebody around here has to carry the channel, if Maddie's not going to do it, then who will?
that yoga ball. I was like, if I carry the channel, that yoga ball carries me. That's the real MVP.
So I found a good transition chair. It's a yoga ball that's
I
actually in
saw
a
that.
chair. Yeah, and I remember having one like way back when, probably before you were born, Maddie.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so
Probably.
I was thinking like, no, we need to get Maddie a chair, but Clever won't let Maddie have a chair. Oh, a yoga ball chair.
That at least stopped me from rolling away, because that is a problem of like, I can't lean or do anything because then the ball just goes.
That needs to be like an exit video where you just lean too hard and the slip out of frame and you're just gone.
I know in our recent, I think the Reckoning video, I lean and then I lose my balance and I just kind of fall against him. He's like, "Get out of my personal space." I'm like, "You're the one who put me on a ball." There's also one that I think when this chair, when we did the spot for this chair, the sponsor, where Kit comes in by rolling on the chair and then immediately crashes into the far wall because he didn't judge his speed well. I like to keep those.
That sounds like Kit.
I like to keep those moments
Yeah.
in. Like if you watch this video when you get to the end screen, he does like a fancy thing for him where he like spins around to from facing backwards. And the very first time he tries it, he hurts his back, and so he like folds in half and like curses for a little bit before immediately
Yep.
doing it again. And I like to keep that
Hurts
stuff
himself.
in. Yeah, I like to keep that kind of stuff in. I feel like otherwise people think he's too perfect and he gets too big of a head.
Can't let that happen.
Can't let that
His ears
happen.
are already so big.
Yeah, right. Anyone know what size
I'm
chain
surprised
or
he's able to walk through a door.
I don't know. Like I don't know. My brain was trying to come up with a fancy joke about his hair or something. It's like, hey, he probably keeps it small so he doesn't mess up his hair. He puts a lot of effort into that. But you know when you like
That's
you
why he
feel
started the channel, and to make money was to pay for his hair products.
probably, yeah.
I was to say that man looks like he puts enough gel in to be like a fire hazard.
I can legit attest to
If I
this,
had
though. He does, in fact, wake up like that.
He does. He wakes up like that.
Like, we could say a lot of things, but we can all agree he's an attractive man. Like it is like kind of upsetting, right?
When I finally
He has
convinced,
perfect bed head.
He's both
yeah,
talented and attractive.
I've camped with him enough. He does. Graham can attest now too. He stayed in our tent after the tornado like incident, or during, really. He genuinely wakes up like that. He doesn't put that much gel in his hair. I watched him get ready in the morning. He literally just like puts the little in his hand, goes like this, and that's all he does. It's not fair, I know. Graham, what does my bed
Well,
head look like?
I'm not gonna put you through that on all of the YouTubes.
What do you mean? The crows making crow nests, bird nests.
Yeah,
It's all good.
exactly. I have curly hair. It immediately turns to like this whenever I wake up. I'm like, hello, world.
Yours did look better than mine, though.
Get yourself
my
a
head here
silk
pretty much
bonnet
always
for
looks
your
like
hair.
this.
What'd you say?
I said, get yourself a silk bonnet to wear at night for your hair. It stops
honestly,
it from tangling.
I've thought about it. I've seen that it's kind of trending right now for people to get them. When I saw it, I was like, I saw those recommended when I first started doing research into curly hair, but I was like, that seems like a lot of work. But now that I'm living with it more often, like if I miss one day of conditioner, like my hair tells me.
Oh, mine tangles into rat's nests if I miss a day of conditioner. It's super fine, and even though it's straight, it still tangles like it's going out of fashion.
Yeah, a kid likes to tease me about how much conditioner I use because I'll bring those little travel bottles to a LARP, and then like within 2 days it's gone, and he's like, I'm like, can I have your conditioner? He's like, damn it.
So Fantasy Apprentice just brought up a amazing video idea to absolutely torture Kit, especially since he just made all that rope for the hand fasting ceremony, making rope out of toilet paper.
Ooh.
How
I
feasible
had
would that be? Because
I had a Cub Scout challenge where you make a hammock out of newspaper.
that seems more feasible than
So,
making rope
like,
out of toilet
if
paper.
prisoners can make knives out of newspaper and toilet paper, I don't see why Kit couldn't.
So newspaper I can see, but toilet paper is like made to fall apart.
Made to dissolve in water, not necessarily just abruptly
Okay,
fall
what
apart.
what what ply are we
perforated.
talking about?
There was a MythBusters.
It would have to
episode
be
that
Charmin
did
Ultra
that.
Strong.
Oh yeah, no,
I was
I can
gonna
see
say
Storm
the
Storm
opposite.
Ultra
It'd have to be
Strong.
like one of those truck stop, like all one
Yeah,
long
the
All-
piece.
paperish ones. The
Yeah.
ones that don't have
Government
this. So
quality.
they can't
Right,
have like
exactly.
the striations that let you like pull them apart easily. It
Yeah,
has to be just the
exactly. It
cheap
has to be
paper.
one
Like
big piece.
you're half convinced they did just stick a newspaper in there.
Yeah.
All right, so I think Apprentice just solidified this as a future video. The Mythbusters did it. Just tell Kit that Adam Savage did this, so now he needs to.
No. Tell him, Adam Savage did this. I bet you can't. Turn
Or
it into a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. What about his
No,
self-esteem?
military issue 2-ply.
There
Military
you go.
issue.
Hey, maybe if
It's
you
got
do
military
the things that
technology.
Adam does, then you can get Adam to have y'all on the show or him on your show.
Get a crossover from Adam Savage.
I think that's Kit's
Yeah, that
dream.
would be a thing.
That's I've heard Kit directly say that it is his dream to work with Adam Savage. He's like his crafting, like, I don't know, like Jesus. I don't know. Well, it's I was gonna say Santa, but I was like, that's not right.
His superhero.
Superhero, idol. That's it.
Yeah, so what you guys do is you make the rope out of toilet paper, right? And then you just tag Adam Savage all through the description, right?
Uh-huh. He's just really confused. He's
See
like,
what happens.
why'd this get recommended to me? What's your guys' favorite D&D show slash podcast? So Kit got into D&D after watching Adventure Zone. So that's his favorite. He's a big Macklemore brother fan. I got into D&D after watching High Rollers, which is a more European. It's from the Yogscast originally. I think it's still going on. I don't know anymore. Then my brain stopped being able to like process storytelling in the background while I'm doing other things, and that's the only way you can watch 4-hour things over and over again.
Roll20 for
So
me.
my Roll20 is awesome. I have to put a shout out to whoever, like the cast and crew and the designers and makers of the most recent D&D movie. I am so happy with it that there is
Yes,
finally a D&D movie that
it
was
feels like
obviously made
D&D.
by somebody who plays D&D.
I would love to watch that with the community sometime. It's a movie that
Ooh.
I wouldn't mind watching over and over again. We could have a movie night. That'd be fun.
I'm down.
There was a TikTok who was talking about the fact that it's like very clear. Like even if you didn't see any paper or DMs or whatever, you can hear the players at the table. It's like There's an Aarakocra. What's the Aarakocra's name? His name is Jarnathan. His name is Jarnathan.
I like to think that maybe they played a D&D campaign and then they made it into a movie just so it would be as genuine as
100%.
possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing, though. The one part about the D&D movie that I had a very hard time for suspension of disbelief is the fact that the movie actually finished. There wasn't like a 4-week hiatus in the middle of it.
Well, they did. They
Party
did
just
push.
scatter.
Listen, they did push the release date. They pushed the release date twice.
I like to
That
think they
is
did
very
that
true.
just to be as accurate as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah, my the D&D campaign that me and Kit met during, it went in an indefinite hiatus, like 4 sessions away from ending, and then like I don't know, like it went too long, and like we kind of drifted from the people in it to the point that me and Kit just kind of sat down and we're like, how would we think this would end? And we just kind of wrote out our own ending. And I was like, well, this is what I had planned. What would you have done? And he's like, well, this. And I was like, well, this would have worked. And that kind of stuff leading up to what we think would be the most satisfying ending. Which is a shame because we played that game for like 5 years. And then never got to end it. But now that does bring me back to thinking about D&D, and then what we talked about earlier, maybe running games for the Patreon people.
I think the real question is, what classes are we gonna pick?
I don't know, guys. What classes would
I'm
you pick?
definitely going Ranger.
Ranger?
I already
No,
have
no,
my character.
no.
Gee, I
Nothing but
wonder why.
bards.
No, no,
Yeah, the
the
thing is,
bear
like,
I
bard
played a
barbarian.
gnome. Yeah, I played a gnome bard barbarian in a 3.5 campaign. That was amazing. His loot was also a battle axe.
3.5 is crazy. Um, the I don't know. Like, I feel like we joke about what kind of class to pick, but it's the role play that matters. Like, you can do any
I was
class, but
gonna
then
say, it could be
role play
anything
as
as
a
long as it's
bard.
fun to play. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't have to be a bard to be a bard.
He's someone who's just always singing.
No, I'm musically challenged.
I remember when I was younger, I
That
tried
would
to.
be the best bard. Tone deaf bard.
No,
He inspires
don't make
people
it a good.
by his gumption. He's like, oh, look at him
Yeah,
try.
He just
just
tries
pure,
so hard.
just pure moxie. That's all it is.
Oh
Oh, no.
no.
Because he's tone deaf,
Right.
instead of singing, he raps.
Oh, it's even
It's
worse.
just
I
like
thought,
talk
I thought you were
singing.
gonna say like spoken word poetry. He's
Oh,
just
that
like,
would be even worse.
Oh no.
Yeah, rap.
Yep. Got him.
Have you guys seen the like 5.5 stuff?
I've looked at it. Haven't
I
really
like it.
dived
I mean,
into it.
No, I really actually they've done a lot of things that I really appreciated. Like especially what they did with like tieflings and barbarians and things of that nature. I think they did a lot of really interesting stuff. It's like
Yeah, I was worried they would. Hmm?
oh, sorry.
I was worried they would
No, go ahead.
change a lot more. I just recently scrolled through it right before the stream. I'm dog sitting Kit's dog, and I felt bad because I was working most of today, so I have scheduled times that I have to cuddle him. So I was like cuddling him. Um, and I actually like scrolling through all the classes. The only thing I got through. I liked most of them. Like I didn't see anything that I blatantly I was like, it's not gonna work, or I'm not sure if I like that. Maybe the druid wild shape. I'm not sure how I feel about the wild shape taking the druid's hit points and not the animals, because I feel like that kind of lowers the strategic use of wild shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It heavily nerfs druids' powers, but I mean, druids were one of the stronger classes because of that ability.
They buffed it in a lot of different ways, but like I'd rather it be a weaker, a bit like use it less, but then have it be more more meaningful rather than just like now it used to be like you would choose an animal. It's like, he's not great at attack, but he's got a lot of hit points, and I could just like soak a lot of hit points. Or this one's like fast, but it's got low hit points, so like I better like be more careful. And there's more like now they take a lot more of the stats from the druid, and then they just give you temporary hit points based on your druid level. But they make it so that you can wild shape a lot more and use your wild shapes for more things. Like you can use a wild shape to summon a find familiar for a day.
Do you guys have any
So
specific house rules that you play with that like you probably would never like do again? Like not do again, but never live without again, kind of a thing.
I've got one as a DM that I don't think I will ever abandon, and that's the fact that I give all of the players that I run for stat blocks. Everybody gets the exact same stats across the board: 18, 16, 16, 14, 12, 10. Because everybody can take that. What?
That's a high stat block, though, dog.
But they're supposed to be heroes. They're supposed to go do big, amazing things, in my opinion. And that way,
Yeah,
there's never been a time where somebody says they want to make a character that can do a specific thing that can't do it with that stat block. And I've never had anybody butthurt about somebody rolling better than the others, somebody not feeling like their character is not able to do what they're supposed to do. I've been doing that for 10 years, and I don't think I'll ever stop doing that.
One thing I implemented a couple years ago, 2 years ago now, and that I think I love just the dynamic that it plays out. Is I roll characters' death saves for them and don't tell them whether they pass their speed.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, it's so much fun,
Solid.
dude.
I gotta write
so
that
when I
one
DM, I
down.
play I play like super OP campaigns. Like I know when I play and the people that I typically attract when I'm DMing, they love that feeling of being just super OP, being able to do these just crazy, amazing things, right? So my stat blocks are always 3 18s, 3 10s. So you have three stats that are just crazy high, and then everything else is just standard, like normal human, right? But with that, level 5 characters are fighting, adult dragons.
Mm-hmm. I run it where every beginning I will have a specific player session with each individual player before they meet the group, so that they have a session in their backstories, in their lives, that they have history and knowledge of, and their personal interactions with NPCs and history with NPCs before they get involved with the party, so they know their own quest line and why they're part of that party.
It's a good one. I'd be interested to know your scheduling abilities.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think
I
I've
am
tried
paid by the
to.
government for not
That's
doing anything.
that's fair. It's more just other people's schedules that annoy me.
Yep. Yep.
What about you, Maddie?
Homebrew rules that I'm the same kind of thing as Eric, where I like people to have. You can ask Kit, like he has like 12 million things in his character sheet that he's collected and they have special abilities, and like I make up homebrew on the like as the game goes on to make their character feel really unique and powerful. I do a roll for your stats, but it's a very forgiving one. I like your stat block because I can see where like it makes everyone feel very like on the level. Um, I got rid of the rule that you can't cast bonus action spells past second level. That like weird one that like limits your bonus action spell casting. Like if you want to cast a 9th level healing word right after casting power word heal, it's just resources that you're spending, but your enemies can do it too. Uh, um, I I implemented an attunement upgrade. So like at certain levels, I think like at certain levels they get another attunement slot so they can have more magical items because I found like the more that stuff went on, the more that they would just kind of have 3 very set magic items that they didn't want to give up, and then like everything you give them past then, it would just be like, let's sell that, I guess. But if you give them like if they get up to like I think 6 was the maximum when they were like 20 level 20. Oh, it was with their proficiency bonus. I think it was like it matched their proficiency bonus. I actually start with 2 in that ruling. Um then they actually have like more freedom to personalize how like the magic items they have. What other ones? I wish Kit was here. I'm sure he would know kind of what weird rulings I make.
One thing I'll toss out that I started doing, this isn't necessarily a house rule or anything, but I would definitely recommend for anybody that is going to be a DM or is currently a DM,
Mm-hmm.
if you have house rules or any kind of custom rules or deviations outside the norm, put it all into a Google Doc, share it with your players, have it written down. Like, there's nothing quite like being like, hey, what was the rule again? And just being able to be like, go check the document. Like, I wrote it down for a reason. You guys have that, so that there's no confusion on the wording. You're not trying to like be like, oh yeah, it was this and this and that, and then you're remembering something wrong. Have it all
Man,
written down.
I like at that game we ran for 5 years, I was still telling them how to run their basic classes by the end of it, I swear. Players are so bad at
Yeah.
learning rules, and then I have to learn all of them. They learn that it's easier to just ask the DM what's the rule because you know all of them. And I'm like, I can look it up the exact same speed as you do. We're playing online. There's a compendium. Just type.
What's
Yeah.
your
So
favorite
one.
5e adjacent book that you like adding to your world?
Mm. Oh, I don't know. I've like in the time that I ran the game, I went through so many. I'll have to think about that. If like ones that add monsters and ones that add spells. There was two really good series of those. That like I don't know, they just kind of expand the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I collected a bunch of them. That was I would have to look it up, man. What exactly they were called? But what was the other question?
Dragon?
Oh no, I was just going to say that one of the things that I tell all of my players from the get-go, debating rules can suck the life and the fun out of a game, right?
Yep.
So I just tell everybody is like, yes, I'm the DM. That means I'm God. So if I get something wrong, it's not wrong until after this session is over and we discuss it. And then moving forward, if I decide to go by what's in the book, then we will go by what's in the book moving forward. But we are not debating rules. We're not like if I tell you that a five hits, then a five hits. If I tell you that a 19 misses, a 19 misses. I don't care. We're moving forward with the game because we're not disrupting it for everybody else.
The rule
my,
of
my
fun.
players my players we play with a pretty like strict sense of fun trumps story trumps rules kind of a premise, right?
Yep. Same.
And so um, my really good friend, we're kind of switching off being DM, and my really good friend right now is running Keys of the Golden Vault,
Hmm.
uh, which is just a series of like heist one shots, and it's so much fun, dude. Like I cannot explain to you how good they did on this. Like, and maybe it's how he's running it because I haven't read the module because I don't want to ruin it. But like, it's just so much fun. But there's a he showed me this homebrew feat that he found on TikTok or something like that, called charismatic athletics. And basically, it's if you are capable of like giving like a ridiculous one liner or something like that, or uh, making some kind of like grand gesture before you do something completely stupid. Instead of making an athletics check, you can make a performance check. And if you succeed, your anyone that can hear you gets basically the equivalent of inspiration. Um,
Mm.
and so basically, and the video that they showed was this like old Mark Hamill, not Mark Hamill, I'm sorry, uh, Bruce Campbell, can't remember his name, Ash,
Mm.
basically Ash from Evil Dead, basically saying like he's dressed as like this Zorro type character, and he flips a coin to this British guard. He's like, for the broken window. And the guard says, well, the window isn't broken. He's like, nah, and just goes jumping through the window. And that's basically all I've based my character on from now on. Just like anytime he can just do the most ridiculous shit ever, he rolls a performance check instead of any kind of athletics check. It's hilarious. Honestly, that kind of thing adds so much flavor and character to a campaign, I think.
Yeah. There's a concept of, as long as you keep it to the point that you can understand it, typically, like, sometimes more rules actually expand gameplay, simply because for something like either LARP or D&D or anything like that, sometimes players don't know exactly what they could do until they're given a sort of structure to do it within.
Can't think outside of a box if there's no box to think outside of.
Yeah, like
Same.
we in Reckoning, no one really, it took a long time for people to understand that they could do rituals because, like, the rules around them were vague. I still can't find the... I swear, if I I found one of them that I liked, but it wasn't the one I was thinking of, which is like Monster Manual Expanded. I like stuff like that. Um, there was a series that was basically like different types of magic, so like giant magic or like star magic, and it gave you like a bunch of spells, a bunch of feats, some classes, and just basically like world expanding stuff that makes the game feel more like, because it helped me world build. I made whole quests around like the whole like there was the Star Magic book. I made an entire quest line that ended up with a permanent NPC that it was like a whole arc just around that kind of concept. And that's my kind of favorite stuff, is just, I guess, puzzle pieces that end up, I can put them into the game later.
Yeah, I definitely do the same with mine. I like Grim Hollow and Helena's. Right now, they're some of the best in-depth, crazy additions to 5e.
Mm.
So I like to convert all the cornucopia of editions from 3.0,
The old ones.
and yeah, like the Book of Vile Darkness
Yep.
or the book of Vile Deeds,
I see
right?
how
I
you can
love going
manage
through that.
high
Yeah,
stats like that. All right.
yeah.
I do that similarly, where like if I can't find, a lot of times, like especially 3E, because 3E was like book, like you had 2 pages of rules just for grappling,
Yep.
kind of edition. So like they have like so many examples of kind of mechanic ideas or concepts or whatever that you can take and apply in a different way. And 5e's math is so easy, it's easy to balance them.
Balance? Wait, you're supposed to go for balance? No, 318s, 310s. You heard that, right?
Either do or don't, yes. I like there to be some randomness. That's what the dice are for.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the dice give you the randomness. The 318s, 310s make it either exceptionally easy or exceptionally hard.
Can't tell if Grim's trying to
And we went quiet.
So I typically play a very like they are heroes, but they're not gods, and like the world has consequences kind of game. So
Yes.
like they're powerful, but there are also other people that are powerful in the world, and they can't just like middle finger the governments and stuff, because even though no individual person in the government's more powerful than them, the government as a collective is. That kind of
Kill the
game.
government.
Kill the government. Summon
No, I said
summon
it's still the
still the
government.
government. Oh, I think you said it's like summon an aspect of the government so you can kill it in one blow.
I heard kill the government
Has
too.
stats.
I think
I
we're
feel
just
like that was
it's
a
just wishful
flip.
thinking.
No.
Has
That
stats. Kill it.
talk is for outside the stream. We're keeping this.
Innocent
So
interest
my
conversation.
characters can usually pretty easily topple a town's government, but if you go into like a kingdom, that ain't gonna happen, right? But again, I made the joke about the balance. What's balance, right? I make my characters that powerful, but the rest of the world that they run into is also just stupid OP too. So
Be cool to make a world that like everyone lives in protective bubbles, so the world is really dangerous. But like inside those bubbles, they're protected, so they're normal. So like in the bubbles, like they're like, yeah, we're such badasses. We're gonna kill these crime bosses. We're so powerful. And they step outside, and they just get flattened.
Oh, like Crystal Chronicles. Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Crystal Chronicles. That sounds really familiar.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles was a GameCube game
Oh.
where you had chalices of this special material that you had to go outside of your bubble into like an area of miasma that was just the air was
Well,
toxic,
I just realized I'm sharing
but
my screen.
all the monsters were super dangerous.
Yeah, so I'm curious. So I had a DM that actually ran me through a Final Fantasy game. He was a big fan of it. And then later on he made his own world and it had like a toxin in the world that like basically made it so there had to be trees that protected like the cities that they were planted in from that toxin. Basically like protective bubbles or like magic would warp and whatever.
Were they kind of like crystal trees?
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But they were still magic trees.
Yep.
So
That
that was
was
from Final
the whole
Fantasy.
premise of Crystal. Yeah, that was Crystal Chronicles in a nutshell.
That's good to know.
My only complaint about Crystal Chronicles was that it was set up to be a multiplayer game. I bought it back in the day when I was like, "Oh my God, Final Fantasy multiplayer," and then you come to find out that, oh, by the way, you need to have a Nintendo DS and a special like little hookup thing because the only way you can have access to your inventory in multiplayer is through the Nintendo DS that's connected to the GameCube.
SP.
And oh yeah, sorry, yeah, the SP. You're right,
Yep.
but still, you had to have a Game Boy to
Oh,
be able to play multiplayer. I'm still salty about that to this day.
not only did you need one, it was 4 players, and each player other than the first player had to have an SP
Yep,
and the hookup cable
yep.
just to play it.
Still upsetting.
I agree. I was in this. I actually bought 3 SPs just to play it with my friends, and we never did. I was so upset.
I
See,
had to
that's
look at
even more sad.
I had to look at the Discord on my phone to see all the memes that they're starting to make for the
What's
face.
really sad is Wild Fox was pretty young when the GameCube came out. So by the time he actually bought it, he should have already known this.
I
he's
was a
he's
young
not that young.
entrepreneur. Thank you very much.
I say he's not that young. He's just baby faced. Come on, get it
I am
straight.
baby face. I am 30 years old.
See?
So yeah,
yeah, so young.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm not. I hate to be the person who's like this, but I'm kind of with the rest of these guys. Like,
I just feel old. 9 years in the military, you know.
yeah,
I'm
that will.
I'm only 25 and I already have back problems.
See, that's what comes with carrying a channel like Skill Tree all on your
That's
own
what comes with
and
with
trying to
having
keep
to.
Sitting
it
While
in
sitting
line.
on a yoga ball.
That's just like the chair I have at home. But I've been working so much that I just spend like days at it, and to the point that my back's like, I give up.
Yup.
What my
Chairs
thing I appreciate most about this conversation is we're just like the guy who is like, yeah, 9 years in the military. Is like, go to hell. You're just like, you're not doing anything. And then Manny's like, I'm 25 and I'm her. He's like, well, yeah, you make sense. That's clear, obvious. Like,
Yep.
Yep.
All about perspective.
It's all about perspective.
And most of us here have none, especially me.
I don't know, man. My back just hurts. I start going to chiropractor.
Perspective. I'm not familiar with that word.
I don't know. It has something to
right?
do with
Everything
like
hurts.
maps, I think.
I thought it
I
had
have
to
a
do with
friend
art.
who complains
Could
about
be.
her back all the time, but she also sits in chairs like a shrimp. And I'm just like, obviously no connection. Can't possibly be posture problems.
how do you sit in a chair like a shrimp? Can you demonstrate? I'm really curious.
Hold it up with her knees up to their chest like this. like for hours on top of hours.
Yeah, that's not bueno. Oh my
I've
gosh.
only ever played one round of D&D, and it was so flat that I've never played again. How is it to play with a really good DM? World changing. Like
Yep.
it's one of those experiences that is like nothing else, and it changes you as a person.
Yeah, D&D's for everybody. It just requires the right DM for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue
I
that
would say it.
players too. Like, you know, it's like
Oh, absolutely.
people. I mean, the DM at the end of the day is the setting, right? Like, if the DM is doing their job correctly, uh, like they're building the world, but they're not getting involved. The players are the ones who are actually like moving the story along and stuff
I would
like that.
argue that it's also on the DM to coordinate their party. If you know that there's going to be a problem player or a player who doesn't fit that group, find a new group for that player.
Yeah, yeah. I think Antonio D'Amico, Pointy Hat, he did a whole thing on like you might have the wrong players, right? And it's like finding the right players for the game. And it's just like, you know, and he brought up this kind of concept of like, um, you have if you have a friend who loves doing like sandbox type games, right, where like you build the world as you go, kind of a thing. But you really want to play a very linear storyline, they're not the right player for that game because they're going to do is kind of try to push their agenda onto the game that you're trying to play, and it's going to clash and everything. So playing with a DM who knows how to tell a story first and foremost is like Maddie, you said, like world changing. It's night and day, right? Versus somebody who's not really kind of like unsure or like afraid to like use voices and kind of like anxious about using like their full potential, but also like when the players aren't really up for like getting into the game and like being social and stuff like that, that can bring it down just as quickly, you know.
And a good DM is good at drawing players out of their shells and pulling them into the game. But you do have a really good like point when it comes to a DM matching with a party of people that want to play the game that the DM wants to run. Because like a lot of people try to give DMs advice of just like how to run the game, how to run a good game for your players. And they forget that the DM's a player too in the end. And like they shouldn't be stripped of the kind of game they want to play. But a lot of times players, there's so little DMs in the world that they'll kind of agree with whatever the DM wants to play, and then, like you said, try to push their agenda once they're in it, and try to like warp it toward the kind of game they want.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll ex-nay a rules lawyer out of my game real quick, just because that ends up sucking the life out of a game.
Yeah. Oh, I will say that I have a friend. There are certain rules lawyers that can like turn the fact that they know the rules into just like this genius methodology, right? Like, so like if you ever listen to Not Another D&D podcast, um, oh my God, I can't. I'm trying to remember her name. Allison. I'll remember in a second. I'm sure somebody in the comments knows who I'm talking about, but um, she when she started, she didn't really know the rules extremely well, but now she knows the rules so well that the stuff that she's able to get away with, like the bullshit that she's able to do just because she knows just the rules backwards and forwards about her character, is amazing and hilarious. Like I've literally listened to her and just been like, all right, I'm gonna do that for my next game. Like just the level of crap that she's like basically using Vine Whip to like, you know, or using Misty Step to jump into a hole and using Vine Whip to whip yourself back up again, and just like random crap. It's absolutely hilarious.
Well, there's a big difference between knowing the rules and being able to use the rules to your best advantage, right?
Yeah.
The whole min maxing, you're minimizing weaknesses and maximizing strengths. I love that, right? when I say rules lawyers, right, I'm talking about the person who will stop the game and argue with the DM because they're not getting what they want instead of just saying, which goes back to the rule that I implemented at the beginning of all the games. If me as the DM says that this is the way it works, that's the way it works right now. After the session, me and you could sit down and, I've been playing for over 30 years. I'm pretty well versed with the rules, but if there's something that I've missed, okay, we'll go through it and maybe, moving forward, we'll do it that way. But let's not ruin the fun for everybody else.
I mean, there's a good rules lawyer and a bad rules lawyer,
Yep.
and I think that's a statement for every play style.
Yeah, like there's a min-maxer that makes really interesting characters, and then there's the min-maxer that tries to min-max everyone.
Yeah.
Then there's the rules lawyer that's a really good resource for the DM and like helpful to the other players and just kind of knows stuff, and is able to kind of like be a support for the party. And then there's the person that gets really invested in the one thing that they wanted to do, read a bunch of rules that said they could do it, and then expects to just be able to pull it off because the DM can't stop me. The rules said I could, and then likes to
Is it
argue
okay
it.
if we play by the rules? I thought we were just gonna play by the rules. Is that cool?
Or,
Yeah.
or worse, that they are arguing a specific rule in point that is something that the DM isn't certain about and would have to spend 2 minutes or 5 minutes going through a book trying to find it, whereas you could just continue the game where it's not that important.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
I think it's just kind of like there isn't really bad archetypes of players. There's bad players, which is usually the people that drag the rest of the game down and that they're really self-centered.
100%. Yeah.
Like you can be any kind of archetype but be beneficial for the party. Like I've had rules lawyers that made everyone feel more comfortable, and like they didn't have time to study the rules, but the rules lawyers would like help them develop really cool plans and stuff. And then like in combat, they'd remind them of stuff, but they weren't telling them what to do.
Yep. Oh yeah, remember that you can do that one spell.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, thanks." And then they'd feel awesome doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that boils back to the enthusiast versus the elitist.
Yeah.
And like the elitist kind of sees this as a gatekeeping thing where it's just like, this is my thing, and the fact that you don't know it insults me, versus the enthusiast, which is the fact that you don't know it means I get to be excited that I get to explain it now, kind of a thing, right? It's not like, it's like, oh no. It's actually really cool what you just did because you get to do this now, kind of a thing, right?
It's the kind of like love of self versus love of thing.
Exactly.
Like one of them is like I view this as part of my identity, but I view it in a way that makes me better than other people. So not only do I not want them to get involved because like then I'm not better than them, but I want to be able to lord it over them. Versus the person who loves a thing and wants to share it. They want as many people involved as possible, and they want to lift people up to be able to do it because they genuinely love the thing. Like people who are like rules lawyers don't love D&D. They love the
I love that they
role.
know the rules.
They love the role that they've been able to carve out for themselves that makes them feel powerful.
It's kind of one of those situations where it's like, because I've been playing since I was 8 years old, and
lucky,
and so like, but like, I was running a game for a little bit, and my girlfriend had never played before, and she was really hesitant to play, and she was like, oh well, these people have played, and I don't really know the rules that well, and I had to explain it's like running for new people that have never played are some of my favorite people in the world to run for because they haven't learned how to play it badly. They haven't learned how to be an asshole when they're playing just for the sake of like, being in that like position of like, oh, I know the rules and you don't kind of a thing, right? There's this really like harsh, strong elitism that comes along with understanding a thing more than somebody else. And it's kind of boiling back to kind of what y'all are doing with Skill Tree. It's just like, it's not about the fact that you and Kit know this. It's about, hey, this is awesome. Let's do it together, kind of a thing. Which I think is the exact same. It could be applied to pretty much anything, right, including D&D.
And D&D and like both D&D and LARP are like just the way that they tickle our brains. Like I've done research into like the psychological part of it. It's so good for you and it genuinely affects you and it's just there's nothing like it. And people like it excites me to even think about more people being able to do it. Um and I genuinely think it makes people's lives better to do something like D&D or do something like LARP.
I agree.
It definitely made my life better.
So if Skilltree was to run a D&D campaign, who would be the DM? Would it be
Who-
you
Oh,
or
it'd
would
be
it
Maddie
be
for sure.
yeah, 100%. There you go.
Yep.
Without
Kit's
hesitation.
yeah, Kit's been saying
I
that
have had this argument so many times.
Kit's been saying that he'll try DMing for like most of the years that I've known him. Um, but yeah, if we were to do anything like business wise, like say offer it to the patrons, it'd probably be me. Because
Oh
first of all,
yeah.
like it's a lot to put on him for his first running of a game if it's gonna be like something that there's expectations for. I'd rather he just get to play like a silly fun game and get to love being a DM. Because being a DM is actually really fun.
It's a lot of work to it. Yeah.
It's a
So
lot of
much work
work.
though.
But
Or it can be. I've seen DMs take 2 minutes before a session and then they're ready. But
once you get really good at it, yeah, like and kind of you have your resources and you have like the muscles to flex.
that ain't me.
Um, yeah, I've done sessions where I've basically like the 30 minutes before the game, I'm like, all right, let's go find some random pictures. Those are my NPCs. What are we doing? This thing. I don't know. They're in a city. Let's underbelly.
Only time I can do that is
The
when
sewers.
generic sewers. The only time I've ever been able to do that is when I have pre-planned like 3 sessions worth of content over like the course of a week, and then the players just haven't touched it yet, so it's already there. It's just like, all right, eventually they'll get to it.
So I tend to um I plan mostly by like in
Oh,
advance stuff, I'll plan story and I'll plan environments. So like I'll plan out a
yep.
city, but I won't plan like quest lines in it because at least then I have the city that I know how it functions, and if they end up anywhere, I know I could like come up with something that happens there. Then
Big
for like
picture versus small picture.
yeah, and then for
Right.
the
Yeah.
immediate things coming up, it's kind of the opposite, where I make sure I have a skeleton of what like enough that they could do something in the game because players will make anything fun even if it's like basic.
Yep.
Then I go back and flavor it. And those two like kind of come together in the middle for like the game that's actually going to happen.
Yeah,
I
so
like
what I'll
having.
do is I'll have the overarching storyline, right? These are the big bads. This is what's going on in the world. This is the motivation for the characters, right? This is eventually the line, the path that the players are going to take. Everything else, from where they go, the environments, the encounters, everything else I do off the top of my head. But again, that comes from playing for 30 years.
Right. And it's like, I mean, that's, but also that's just sort of like a playing style, right? Because like, I think a lot of people watch professional DMs and stuff like that, and they're amazing. Like Matt Mercer
Brandon.
Brennan Lee Mulligan and like the McElroy brothers and stuff like that, and they kind of like have this feeling that like, oh, I could never do that because I can't do the voices, or I can't improv, or I can't this, or I can't that. Um, a lot of it just sort of boils down to like, what kind of story do you want to tell? Like, you know, okay, yeah, I have some like improv experience because I was like a theater nerd back in the day, but like for the most part, it's just sort of like I plan out beats. I want them to get to this, do this, face this guy, do this and this, and it's just like what happens between those beats entirely up to you, and it doesn't really matter how they do it. At the end of the day, you know, as long as the beats kind of get like hit in the main kind of thing, they can do whatever they want. And facing around that is just sort of like part of the job of the DM, right?
Yeah, I think the kind of recipe that I've seen work the most for making someone a good DM. And also like not just like a good DM, like they play in a certain style that like works for everyone, but like someone who loves DMing, um, and is like gonna last as a DM because a lot of times DMs burn out. Is for them to run one of the simple like pre-made adventures like uh, Lost Mines for the first thing that they do, because halfway through Lost Mines you start to realize what is needed. Like it teaches you what you need to prepare to be able to run a game, which I think is where a lot of DMs kind of like lose themselves when they try to start from scratch, is that they kind of make up what they think they need and they over prepare in certain ways and under prepare in others. Um, and then halfway through like Lost Mines, you start to be comfortable enough because you've been handheld enough with it telling you exactly what you would need to run a game bare bones, that you start adding your own stuff in, and you get the like, it's basically like training wheels where you get to feel the safety of feeling out. It's something that is kind of very difficult to do in the end, with enough that you don't have to pre-prep a whole bunch. You can start throwing random stuff in and it's not gonna just like use up all of your time. um that's, and then like a group of players that are kind of around, either experienced enough that they know to be gentle with a new DM, or are kind of around the same experience level as the DM.
I
Because then
unfortunately didn't have any of that.
they
Well,
I
I
was in
mean,
a
like,
small town with no one interested in playing, so it was like, I have the stuff though, guys.
listen, there's always somebody. I grew up in a town of 700 people in North Carolina. Like, there's always somebody you can convince to play an elf if they if in a pinch. But like, it I kind of I agree, Maddie. I agree with you that like, there's this sort of like idea that completely lost what I was about to say.
I know a lot of people look
I'll come
down
back
on
to me.
running a pre-made adventure.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
the mods. Like I love using mods. Like I said, I've been playing now for like 30 years, and I like using pre-built adventures and stuff like that is amazing. I love doing that because it's like it's literally,
It's plug and
it's
play.
got a lot of stuff. But a lot of people, well, you don't a lot of people don't recognize or realize is that you don't have to stick with the adventure. If you've gotten past the point of like what the adventure actually has to offer, or if it's just like, oh, okay, like they're kind of moving in a different direction, you can use the mod as a good jumping off point, and then build your own thing from there. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to go all the way to level 20 with the mod, right?
Yeah, so like being a DM is like being an engineer, and pre-made adventures are Legos. So
Mm-hmm.
like you have a Lego set and a bunch of pieces. You can make anything out of those pieces. Or you can follow the instructions and learn kind of the kind of stuff that you can make with Legos.
I never
Um,
followed the kits. I was always
uh,
making weird shit.
yeah, like a lot of the stuff that I make is I'll take a bunch of chunks and pieces from other adventures. I'll read through the kind of stories that they made and I'll be like, ooh, I like that part. Ooh, I like that part. Ooh, I like that monster. What's the story behind this monster? That could be a whole adventure by itself. And like it's an
Yeah.
inspiration more than like a than anything else. And that's always been D&D, is we steal from each other. We steal from books. We steal from like media. My world was originally very similar to like Dragon Age's world. The friend who ran for me was like you mentioned before, the kind of concepts from Final Fantasy. No one really cares, and if they do, then that's their own problem.
Yeah.
Like the whole point is having fun in the middle of all of it.
Yeah, I pretty much stick to a modified Faerun just because I've read so many of the R.A. Salvatore books,
Mm-hmm.
and that just really sticks with me. Like I'll usually mix Faerun and Middle Earth, and that's typically my play setting.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I've
there isn't
got
a whole lot different between Faerun and Middle Earth.
Yeah, same lines.
yeah, I've got a world that I slowly built over time. Like I was like I was very similar in the way that I learned about D&D when I was younger, and I never had anyone that would be willing to play. I even got a bunch of friends that agreed to play, and I did like we played Curse of Strahd. I did everything for them. I made guides for them, so like they didn't have the books. So I painstakingly typed out, printed out, made binders for them of everything they would need to know to play, their classes, everything. I even made like custom art of their characters and custom character sheets and tried to get them really excited about it. But the game probably lasted like 4 sessions before they were just like they're like they never really got into it. I tried to make my family play one time. That was back when 4E first came out. Um,
Oh, Ori.
yeah, I didn't know half of what I was doing. My family didn't know what I was doing. My mom decided she wanted to play a character that rhymed in every sentence she said, and then realized how hard that was.
That's genius. That's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Like
It was
that's the kind of
it
thing
wasn't
that
even
like
her idea. It
makes a
was like
good
something in the
character.
book that was like, oh, you could decide something cool about your character, like make them unique, like maybe they rhyme all the time. She's like, I like that, and I'm like, good luck.
Good luck.
um,
There's a monster race character. It's bird-like that can only respond with
Kenku,
words that were used in what they heard
Kenku,
most recently.
Kenku,
Kenku, right?
yeah,
Anku.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Kenku.
that's
They have no
uh-huh.
language of their own,
That
so they
is
have to
awesome.
basically mimic.
yeah. They're
Yep.
crows. Crows are actually
Yeah,
really good
they're
at
crows.
mimicking.
Yes, yes. I like how this chat has turned into like skill tree Q&A into like bearded white men plus Maddie yell about D&D.
Yep.
We should make our own D&D podcast.
You think
Alright,
you
she's
did.
just like, yeah.
Just be like,
The YouTube chat's all about D&D too, so it's not even like we're going off of what everybody else wants to be listening to too.
yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
we already got some
I'm
people
still here to
asking to
answer
be DMs for
questions.
Skilltree.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I think I
we
saw Brett Lemieux say he was willing to DM for Skilltree people, so
Yep.
good on him, brave man.
Yeah, so far I've been in what free time I have. I've been organizing all of my D&D stuff. So I accidentally screwed up all my files, so they're all scrambled, and I have to put everything back together. So I'm
Oh
piecing
no.
together all the notes and the files for like a 6-year game of continual world building. But once I have all of that cleaned up, then I could very easily run games in my world. Maybe even kind of
I
like the what is it, the adventuring guild? What is that? That like it's
Adventures
the
League.
Adventures League kind of style
Yeah.
where people can kind of come and go at any time.
Is this where you bring up that this live stream is brought to you by World Anvil?
I do have one.
I tried to use World Anvil,
Keep
man.
everything
It's
organized in
the
one
UI
space.
just didn't vibe with me. I ended up just Google Docs.
Yeah.
They have a
I actually
new
I did
system.
I
Let's check
tried
it
a few
out.
times. I will say
Um,
I love Incarnate for map building, but World
Incarnate's
Anvil
what I use
like
too.
oh man.
yeah.
Um, I tried Incarnate for a while, but then I eventually found what is it called? Like Wonder Draft. Wonder Draft
Yeah.
is my favorite by far now. Not a lot of Wonder Draft
Yeah.
fans, I see.
I definitely feel your pain on getting your stuff shuffled. I had a website where I was storing all my stuff for
Mhm.
my NPCs and like quest lines and webs and stuff. I missed the email where they're shutting down, so they just deleted all of it.
Oof. Yeah, I was using so many
Yeah.
different like I was using Dropbox, Cloud, Google Drive, that I tried to find something that would basically take all the files I put in one place and like collaborate them. And what it did instead was it shuffled all my files, corrupted a bunch of them, and then spat them back out.
Terrible.
Yeah. So a lot of my files are just kind of a mess, and I've never had time to, or really like we weren't playing in D&D at that point, so it didn't feel like there wasn't much use putting that much time into like sorting the world again, especially since the campaign had just like basically ended. So my world was like a whole different world state at that point that I'd have to figure out what the consequences of their actions were in the long term.
Oh, what about using the LARP world that you're working on?
I don't know, because starting a world from scratch is a lot of work when it comes to like world building. At least with the world that I have, I've been working on it for years. I know for a fact that I can comfortably run games in it. I can like, especially for like a variety of people and interests. I'd have to start from scratch with the other one.
All right, so question again. What Patreon tier level would you be thinking of to actually be able to join the game when you're running it for us?
Probably like $50 tier. Like the all the other rewards plus that, probably $50 tier. And then that also keeps it an amount of people that isn't going to overwhelm me if I'm running like one game a month.
All right, so you all heard that. Let's overwhelm Maddie and everybody get at least the $50 tier.
Oh man, if everyone in the game is a $50 tier, that like, then I'd like, it becomes a full-time job running D&D. That's a lot of games.
I mean, I could see it working with like there are worse things. I could see like 3 games a month where you have 3 separate groups. You have the first tier, which is 50 if it's the entry level, which is your Adventure League tier, where you have people dying all the time and circling through so you can get more people involved. Then you have your
the meat grinder.
Yeah, the meat grinder. Like, here you guys
You
go.
get to level 20, you
The
get free
TPK
access.
tier.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you get to level
If
20, if you get to level 20 in one character, you get free access to the upper tier.
exactly.
Right.
And
Just-
then you
it's
have
like moving on up.
and then you have your
The
higher tier
gauntlet.
where you have like a dedicated like this is the party that's going to be long-term guys that are more invested, have more time to dedicate to it. And then you have the Grandmaster tier who are just playing with Kit and Grim and you.
The only thing that I'd have to
I,
figure out is like we talked about earlier about having a good mix of players. So when people can kind of come and go with Patreon tiers and we don't really get to choose who signs up, then it starts to get a little bit complicated with matching players together. Because I know that I can run a game for pretty much any type of player. Like there are ones that I would enjoy running more than others, and some I would smile through the pain. But the only thing is like everyone in that would be paying for it, so I'd want them to be matched with people that they would have fun with, and not have to smile through the pain themselves. But I
that
do.
and I would really like to not be part of the D&D equivalent of the all guardsmen party and just going through the meat grinder, please.
Well, I mean, in fairness, this group is basically just 4 dwarfs and elf.
No, no, that's very kind of you.
He has a beard. He can't be an elf.
Hello.
He's at least a half
Maddie
elf.
has made me my own gremlin.
That's fair. Gremlin.
Yep, that sounds like a homebrew race.
Half dwarf, half gremlin. A green dwarf would be pretty dope, though. I'm not gonna lie. Come on.
Half orc dwarf.
Half orc dwarf.
That's the thing. It's like these half races. It's always sort of like assumed it's always human.
I
But
like
like,
to think
what
of
would
it's
it be
it's
if it was like,
because
Good.
I like to think of it's because
yeah, like
like
half orc,
the other races can't
like
really
half orc,
breed
half
with each other, but they can
gnome.
breed with humans because humans are like the bare, like they're the basic.
Right? Yeah, they're super basic. They're the PSL of the Faerun world.
As long as
So
I don't look too cartoony, I'm good.
just on
Well,
the
like,
topic of humans always being the base for the other half of a half whatever. Last campaign I ran, I had 18 brothers that were all the half human sons
Of like
of
a
a
bard.
wandering bard.
Yeah,
And the key thing is it was the Bertinelli family. So every single one of the guys, you had Humbert, Hubert, Albert, uh, Cambert. Every single one of them, their first name was something that you could shorten to Bert. And I found and looked up, and I found 18 versions of an anglicized name that could be shortened to Bert, and there was 18 of them in the campaign that the characters kept running into.
That's hysterical. I mean, I did play a campaign when my buddy ran Icewind Dale. I played a half dragon, half ling. So it was basically an extremely short half dragon. And it was great. It was like absolutely. It's like he had he took the Acquisition Incorporated famous scions. It was basically his parents were just like famous adventurers. One was a dragon, one was a halfling. And he was always writing home to mom and dad.
So Kit
I don't
played
know.
a halfling, and it still hurts my brain because like there's something about just like a tiny person that sometimes your brain has to like reframe things of like epic moments, or like when they romance someone, or like when they're fighting a dragon, or when they're like scolding their adoptive child that's taller than them. And it's always been funny to me because he's always been like, his character was kind of like the spine of the group, like kept everyone together. um and it's always been so funny in my little like vision of what's happening, of just him, just he's just a really like just half the size of everyone. Halfling and gnomes, man, they just make me laugh on the inside, just like imagining them go through like D&D campaigns.
I feel like I have to ask the important question here that
Mm-hmm.
nobody is willing, courageous enough to ask. How tall is Kit in real life?
5'10".
He's up there.
Okay,
Shorter
yeah,
than me.
He's on the average.
He's
yeah,
exactly
he's
average.
yeah. I was gonna say he's an average. I'm 5'10". It's like
Yeah.
he's an average king. Don't you worry.
I'm 5'9", so it was like, okay.
I'm 5'4", so, which I think is actually the
Fun
exact
size.
average. Fun size. I'm just below average, so therefore considered small. My doctors lied to me for most of my life, where they told me I was 5'5" and let me believe I was normal. Um,
How'd you
but
believe that was normal? That's so
instead of
messed up.
small, um, man, everything changes
Is
as
it
soon as you get
small or
under
small with an
5'5".
O?
What?
Yeah. Is it small or small with like an O?
Small, probably
Small.
that.
Yeah.
So looking back at when like my like records, I was actually like 5'4", and then like point something, and they just rounded it up. And then
Oh.
when I lost a bunch of weight, I lost just enough padding on my feet that I was very much not a upable number. And they were like, "Nah, you hard 5'4", and I'm like, "I've been lied to my whole life." Like
Those sons of bitches.
all my friends that were like, "I'm 5'4", you're short. I love they were lying. So yeah.
All of you are short. Is the little green guy actually the tallest one?
I was gonna say I'm
I'm
5'11" and change, so
I'm
I'm
six
six
doing
foot.
foot.
okay.
You're 6. Okay, so we got 6', 6', 5'11" and change.
5'9".
5'10" on a warm day. Uh,
What is your bones made of steel? Expand.
yeah, it's all about
Mine are
divinity.
made out of titanium, so
There you go.
It's all about hydration and the connective tissues. We're
Yep.
hoping that all of those little tendons and paddings in the spine get
Bye,
the
dragon.
stuff they need.
Get one of those flip tables where you hang upside down and then, decompress, and then we'll see how tall you are.
Fine, it like
Yeah.
elongates.
Hey, I
Uh-huh.
finally get to see you. Yuri's been like below the line that I can't scroll past. I've just been seeing the top
That's
of his
fine.
hair, and like as he animates.
Oh god, I'm sorry. Yeah, like my Jufro. I'm like, listen. Can I just say that like whatever this garbage is when I was younger, it was only worse when I was like 15. I had this massive like Ronald McDonald and Isaac Hayes had a love child kind of massive Jufro.
Man,
And
you should have seen me when I cut my hair short. So my hair will kind of frizz out too, and it's very curly. And I always
yeah.
get warned every time I cut it short. They're like, "You're gonna have to style it because if you don't, it'll frizz out." And I'm like, "I'll do it." No.
Nope.
Every time I just
I
I
be
I, I
walking around looking like a dandelion.
You know
Yeah,
that
my
that
barber, my
stereo.
barber, my barber tells me, he's just like, listen, you've got to do something, or it's like Eraserhead all the way.
Yeah, you know
And it's
that
like, all right, fine.
stereotypical grandma haircut. I have a picture of me in the hospital, like wearing a like after I had my appendix removed, and I look like a grandma. Hard stop. Like I have like the
Oh, like the big thing, like the
yeah,
oh hell yeah.
fluffy. I've got like glasses, and I've been in the hospital having surgery, so like I'm kind of a mess, and I have like the gown, and I've got like the drip thing, like I'm walking around with
You're
it,
just
like
holding it up.
yeah, so I look like a grandma. Hard stop.
That's amazing. I love that
Oh,
so much.
I've got
Yeah,
super straight
that's
hair.
kind of that's it's the Scottish and the Jewish. That's the thing. It's like I never had a chance.
that's definitely a curly hair combination. Yeah, I don't know, like looking at me, what kind of heritage do you think I am? Because no one can really like decide.
Um,
Everyone gives me different
Welsh
answers.
and German.
Any other guesses?
I'm gonna
I was
go.
gonna throw out either some kind of like German French, like English hybrid, kind of from the center of the area.
French Canadian.
Yeah, no.
Oh
This
God,
in
you
between
would wish that
France,
on
Germany,
someone?
and Italy kind of area in the mountains.
Austria.
Little Austrian maybe.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I've got a Greek
I'm
Oh, I
gonna
nose.
thought you
say
were
you're
like
Floridian.
honestly, I thought you
I
were like
You look
asking this because you
Floridian.
were going to reveal. I was just like,
I've
you're
been
just like,
told
no.
that I look like depending on kind of like my hair is a different color right now, but like I normally have like dark brown hair, or kind of ashy, but dark brown. I've been told that I look when I have my eyebrows done, I look Hispanic. I've been told that I a lot of times I look Greek. I have kind of olive tone. I have the Greek nose. Um, I kind of have some Greekish features, which makes sense. My dad has the weird heritage. He says that he's from kind of like either Ireland, Scotland-ish, and then Italy is like his two
Yeah.
origins. Um, and then my mom is Hungarian, like Hungarian German.
Hey,
Um, but no one, absolutely no one in my family has like the Greek nose except me. I have no
Well,
idea
listen.
where it came from. My mom's like the pool man.
wow.
I'm
So,
like,
oh my God. But, like you're from you're in like middle Florida, right? You're like in like
oh
central
no,
Florida.
like near Miami, South Florida.
I'm sorry.
Near Miami, like South Florida. I'm near
Oh, you're
you.
in South Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I know. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were like north of me and stuff like that.
No, man,
Yeah, no.
you
So
live. I
like,
won't name it, but you live where I grew up.
really?
Yep. I'm like 30
That's
minutes from you.
crazy.
Yeah.
Right now, that's oh,
No,
okay,
right now I'm
yeah,
in
no.
Massachusetts.
Well, okay, yeah, yeah. You're dog sitting right now, but like that's kind of hilarious because like I grew up like because I went to school in Miami and I went to but I was born in Miami, but I lived in like Coral Springs and then like this area. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but like like the fact that like it's so funny because you were saying like, oh, I look Hispanic, but when I was in IT and I was like kind of traveling around,
Mm-hmm.
people always assumed that I was Venezuelan. I have no idea why. Venezuelan and Argentinian, and like it was always just like, oh, okay, so you're Argentinian. It was like close, I guess, Jewish, and
I never get I
so like
never get mistaken for Hispanic in Florida. It's always everywhere else.
really,
Mm-hmm.
um, I guess like
ain't that just the way?
I have absolutely no like I grew up surrounded by Hispanic culture and language and
Yeah,
everything, and absolutely none of it imparted itself on me.
yeah,
And I think I
Same.
project that. I'm like not like anti-Hispanic. I don't like Hispanic people. I'm like anti-matter in the
you heard
sense
it
that
here
like
first, folks.
I'm like anti-matter for the Hispanic culture where they're just like something's like she's very much not Hispanic.
Negative Hispanic.
Negative Hispanic.
Negative, like exactly negative. So, and not to go any kind of like deeper, but are you south, north, east, west?
Of you, North.
North. Okay. So, are you like Are you like a Latin food kind of like? Do you enjoy Latin food in any kind
Mhm.
of meaningful way?
I like every food.
Okay.
I grew up in Florida, and you know the area I grew up in. It has every single food.
Yeah.
Like
It's literally everything.
so if and no one's ever been in the kind of that area of Florida, which is like Broward County. I wouldn't
Yeah.
go into Miami-Dade because that's just not worth it. Um, but Broward County is like as if a suburb and a city had a baby, and it's not like the in
Yeah.
between. It's as if they had a baby. Um,
It's just like
it's
this
a
weird
suburb that is
amalgamation.
as
Yeah.
populated and dense as a city. Um,
Yeah.
for
100%.
miles. Um,
Yeah.
like I can drive an hour and still be in that. Which means that
That's the
there's
thing. It's like
so much restaurants, so much everything. I go to like big cities and I'm disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. It's just like and like because I live in Broward now, but I grew up. I went to school in Miami and stuff like that, and people don't realize that like places like Miami and Broward, Miami's the size of Texas. It's like the weirdest thing. Like you can drive for an hour and still be in Miami,
Yeah, because
It's
it's
and
like
they
a
bigger on
don't
the
like.
different.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I used to work down in Coral Gables, like and like
Oh, okay, sure.
so like
In the schmancy part of town.
um
Listen, I went to UM, so I know Coral Gables. I get it.
The size of Texas.
it's the Miami-Dade. Like it's the smancy part of town
Yeah.
until you take 3 steps to the side. Um
Right, exactly. No, no, no.
but
That like go 2 streets that way and you're getting shot. No, I get it.
yeah, but like Miami the city versus Miami the area. Like everyone considers it's
Yeah.
got like those big cities that like it's got multiple different sub-cities within it. And everyone just
Mhm.
considers the whole thing the city.
Okay.
That's definitely Miami. I feel like the whole
That's the
Miami-Dade
thing.
just it's like people from Massachusetts always say they're from Boston just because
From Boston, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's the
But really
same.
they're
It's
from
like if you're from
Lowell or something
Miami-Dade,
like
you're
that.
from
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah. Like I was born on North
That's like me
Beach.
saying I grew up in Houston, but I was actually like 45 minutes from Houston.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it. I
I like
get it.
I always tell
And
people
it's
I'm
like
from Miami because they have no idea what Fort Lauderdale is.
Mm.
right. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many times people have like, so you're from Miami? And it's like, no, 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 not really. Like north of there, kind of like Fort Light, and then like this little bit. And
The
they're like,
better
no, no,
part.
no.
I grew up in
Let's
the
call a spade a
woods.
spade. Yes. Like, yeah, no, much better. Oh my God. I will say though, one of the best bars in Florida, if you ever end up down in like Little Haiti, the best bar in Florida, I've been to so many bars in Florida, the best bar by far is Bar Kaiju out in Little Haiti. If you like a good like night out and stuff like that, or like have friends, especially if they like mocktails and stuff like that, like they specialize in like all different kinds of things, especially mocktails. Bar Kaiju, it's absolutely incredible.
We should just do like a tour, like all the Patreon people come down, and I know a really really
Yeah,
good hookah place up in Boca, a really 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 good crab place right by Fort Lauderdale Airport, and then we go down to Little Haiti. So we just do like an arc down.
that would be amazing. Hold on, are you talking about shit the inn the boat?
The boat, yeah, the
I'm trying to
crab
remember
place that's right by the airport that has like a boat attached to it you can sit in.
You're gonna have
what
to
the
make me
hell is it
drive back
called.
down south again.
Yeah, listen, if I would because you know I own a cocktail company, so it's like basically I know every bar. So like if you guys wanted to do like a bar crawl down here, like let's
Man,
do
I'm
it.
up for it. I have
I'd be
no
the
more.
DD.
Everyone left me down here. I have no more friends that live in Florida.
Are you serious? What the hell? Like that's the thing is like I everyone I,
Everyone leaves in Florida.
one of
It's
those things like
transitional.
yeah, it is a transitional place, but also like it's also the place you come back to. I have noticed that.
Yeah. They'll be
Like
back
But
when
they'll
they're
come
80.
back when they're like
yeah,
old and with kids and don't want to do
God's
Yeah.
waiting
anything.
room.
Yep.
Um, what
All
is it?
right. Well, if you're out
Rustic
in the
Inn
Fort
Crab
Lauderdale area,
House.
I've got a bunch of good bars that I can throw your way. Don't
Rustic
worry.
Inn
Like
Crab
there's
House.
Rustic Inn. That's it. Yes, it was something
Best
in. I was
crab
like,
that
what the hell is
I've
this?
been to expensive ass crab restaurants. Rustic Inn Crab
Yeah,
House will change my perspective on crab.
Rustic Inn is some solid stuff, yo. They
I
give you
haven't
like the
had
little
crab legs
mallet
in
and just
forever.
people banging on like metal
It's
tables
not
and shit.
fancy either. Like
Oh no, it's scummy. It's super scummy, but it's really good.
But
I just
aren't
remember
those
Dirty
like
Chicks
the
in
best
Panama City.
restaurants?
yeah, that's very much like it is the best that you'll find. And you walk in and they're like, it's not fancy at all. Like they give you a wooden mallet. There's like kids running around. They sing for everyone's birthday, kind of place.
Yeah, it's
Pizza
super
Ranch level.
scum.
You're like,
But it's
why?
so good.
You're like, why was I recommended this place? And then you try the crab and you're like, I'm gonna come back every single day.
It's kind of like how the best coffee in Miami or the best coffee in South Florida is always out of like some like scummy looking like person's window that they've like opened up this way, and it's just like the best coffee you've ever had in your life.
There's
Sort of
always
amazing.
that very, very fine line you tread between this place looks like it needs to be shut down, and this place looks like it's probably as authentic as it's going to get.
That's a very gray line in Florida. I will say that that is a blurry place to live because like
I don't spend
just
enough time in
because it's
Miami to
delicious
play
doesn't
that
mean it's
line.
clean.
I don't spend enough time in. You said you lived in Coral Springs. You ever been to Cherry Smash?
Yes.
Yeah. Cherry
Yeah.
Smash is great. It's one
Listen,
of those retro ice cream parlors.
it's I mean it's kind of like so like the thing for me was like growing up there was always this place Jackson's, right? That's like real old school kind of like they make their own ice cream, they make their own sodas, like all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But yeah, like um I was at Pride in Wilton Manors, if you know Wilton Manors,
Mm-hmm.
and Wilton Creamery. If you've never been there, oh my God, best ice cream in Broward County.
I've never heard of Wilton Creamery. I'll look it up, but I don't think I've actually been to Wilton Manors myself, but I used to work. My family owns an insurance agency, and it's yeah, agency. Um, so I got to learn a lot of the city names for all the different condos and stuff that they cover.
Oh, because you had the jurisdictional maps and stuff like that up on the wall and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. So
I'm gonna star that place.
Wilton
Wilton
Creamery.
Creamery.
Maddie, Shadow Kitsu wants to know what your dream project would be.
Um. Oh, geez. Like, I mean, I just gotta say coins because that's what I'm obsessed with right now. Just continual coins. Um, like
More.
it's just my like if it's something that I do myself, then it's more of like a question of like what am I like my dream project of being able to do. I'd love to make myself like a full set of like the bird armor. Like I'd love to make it myself. Um, I'd love to, yeah. I it's hard because like I have a lot of stuff that I would love to see on Skill Tree, but it typically like Kit's the one that has to do it. So it has to be something that he gets excited about, or else it's literally him slogging through a project an entire weekend. Um, so like I want to make a lot of LARP like camping furniture, like the stuff that folds down or is multi-purpose like purpose. I want to make
A throne for Maddie.
a portable throne so he can never deny me again.
He's gonna make you a
I
chair.
think
It's
I
just gonna be
planned
a
for
bird
one.
perch.
I'm gonna have to like balance on it. It's just a pole. Just hang upside down on my with my knees.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I would love to really figure out the coin thing. Like get it to the point where we're making like solid ass coins. Um, and then like making like I don't know, I never really get stuff, so it'd be nice to like have a suit of armor or like something like that. Um, what's another and then like yeah, like I tend to like really functional things where like I want camping furniture because it makes me feel really cool. Um, I want to dress up our tent. That's another thing that if especially if White Duck sponsors us, so we can make it all about their tent and how to make it really like dressed up and fancy and like larpify it. I would love to do more cooking videos or like herbalism or those kinds of things. It's just YouTube. We'd have to make a whole different channel for that. We've tried. YouTube crushes that with a burny, fiery passion. The
They don't like that.
they like to stick you in boxes. It's easier for the algorithm to recommend you to people if it knows the kind of content you make. Even the content we make is varied enough that it struggles sometimes, which means that some of our videos just don't get pushed. but cooking, and like more survival stuff and any kind of more like home crafts or whatever is far enough out of our milieu that those just like they plummet and burn. Um, I'd love
Does that mean we probably won't ever get to see a soap video then?
I would love to make soap, but we want to make another channel that's basically kind of more along those things. Where it's not
Make a leather soap carrier for LARP, but while you also make soap.
Yep. You gotta tie it in.
That's unless a lot of people are looking for a leather soap carrier, I don't know if that's a workaround.
Or a leather bag that's in theme for whatever LARP.
Like a LARP toiletry bag would be really good. We actually just ordered
Yes.
some leather ones because like you want to be able to carry them to LARP to the shower.
Yep.
In character.
I've got one.
I got the ones that unfold and hook because LARP showers always have a hook, but then like you can't put things anywhere else. So like, but it can't be the
Yep.
ones that unfold and hook and will go way down. Like it could only like unfold once because showers aren't that big. So it's very specific. Has to be leather, looks in kind of in character, hooks on the thing, is big enough for all the stuff you need, and doesn't like unfold too big. I found some. I want to see if they work, but that's always a mess of we never have toiletry bags, so then we just kind of shove our stuff in random bags and then just struggle. But yeah, if
I mean,
people want to come down to Skill Tree Party in Florida, it certainly has enough going on.
True.
when will you find time to host such an event?
I'm not Kit.
Well, you have
Yeah, I was gonna
Conquest
say
coming up too.
Yeah, I don't know, like I just don't sleep.
the easiest way.
The easiest way.
Oh,
Uh,
if it's too real.
I don't know, man. My hobby's organizing at this point. Just second nature.
That's fair.
Just organize, make sure all my spreadsheets are up to date, send out updated questions, and wait for responses so that they can make me ask more questions. That's most of what Conquest is right now. And then, like, try to help Kit organize stuff as much as possible so it's easy for him to. Like, I do a lot of pre research and, like, put together a whole, like, basically project proposal for him so that it's easier for him to pick up a project and do it in a weekend.
Oh, make a Skill Tree Miami shirt. It's just a tour of Miami after Skill Tree.
That'd be funny. Like the kind
Right.
of like the pink and teal kind of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, 100%. I'm trying to remember how
Except
to
we
say
don't go to
level.
Miami. We stay in Fort
Nope.
Lauderdale.
Yep.
Which
Do a
is
skill
And
Fort
look
tree.
at a map.
Lauderdale. It just continues up the shoulder because it's much longer of a word.
Look at a map and lay the skill tree logo over the top. And then try to find things to do that trace out the
Inside the
tree.
tree. Oh.
Right.
Call it
Trying
the
to think.
tree crawl.
Oh man, how do you say leveling in Spanish?
I have no
It'd
idea.
be like sigue subiendo. Yeah, subiendo de nivel. So that'd be like keep leveling up you.
You're asking people who, at least me, I
Sure.
don't speak
Yeah,
Spanish.
just ask chat.
Just because I grew up in Houston does not mean I speak Spanish.
I grew up
Nope.
I
just north
speak
of
Spanish.
Miami, and I took 8 years of Spanish in elementary school. You know what that did? Make my brain hate Spanish because they taught me the exact same
I
thing
went to
over and
schools
over
back when
again
they
with a
didn't
hateful
require a
teacher.
foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've lived next to Spanish people most of my life, and I've never picked up more than like 5 words.
Is it hard to live so far away and having to travel up north so often? Yeah, it is difficult both logistically and emotionally. Because I feel very far away from the projects a lot of times, and I don't get to play with anything, and I don't get to make things very often. A lot of times I just get the work side of it. Um, so we recently like really specifically set aside budget for me to come up and actually like have a weekend to potentially make stuff, even if it's just little things, because it helps get ahead, and it actually like injects a little bit more of like I get to be creative and stuff into it again. And it's very exciting. I'm gonna make shoes. I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me. They're gonna be bad. I could guarantee you, but I'm gonna do it. And then for logistically, it is very difficult. Like if I moved up here and we had a space that we could like help each other consistently, like we could do so much more, even just with the time we
An
have.
office.
Even just like merch.
I mean,
Like he could be making a video and I could be making merch, but right now he has to do everything physical.
Would
When
you
is Kit
survive
coming
the
to Brad?
cold though?
The first time I house sit, it was in the middle of a blizzard. I lost one of my gloves and I plowed I plowed and then shoveled his entire like driveway, which is like a really long driveway, and then I helped the neighbor shovel theirs. I'll be fine.
So when is Kit coming to Broward?
He's actually in Florida right now for vacation.
Oh, is he really? That's hilarious. That's
Mhm.
actually very funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's like the
Yeah,
fact you're
we
up
switched
there and
places.
Switched.
Mm-hmm.
he's not down in South Florida, right?
He's in closer to West Palm.
Oh, okay, sure.
So still South Florida, but like 2 hours
Yeah,
from the real South
a
Florida.
little,
You could take a
and like a good
train,
chunk.
but honestly, the only thing good up there is there's a tea place I like.
There is a, there are a couple of there's a great non place, and if he likes whiskey, there's a decent whiskey place that's up there, up near city center.
I haven't been there very
Uh,
like enough to really explore the area.
It's really not worth it, dude. Like honestly, for the most part.
only
And
part of Florida I know is far north, which is Vortex and Panama City.
that's not
That's
Florida.
it. Not really.
That's what I call Diet Georgia.
Yep.
That's Florida's a big enough that it's like California where it would there's the potential that you could basically split it into multiple states and it wouldn't make any difference to the people.
Yeah.
Like West Coast Florida barely exists to us. And there's north, like southwest and southeast, and then there's Orlando in the middle, which is more like the southeast simply because of the tourism and like how much money got injected into it. And then there's big
Yeah.
gaps of alligators in between.
Mostly alligators.
Alligators everywhere.
It's dinosaurs and angry people.
Grim keeps like warning me. He's just like, just so you know, it's 2 hours. Just so you know, it's been 2.5 hours.
Can I leave now, please?
Grim, you
I'm
have to.
just, if she's being Kit, I'm gonna be mad.
Well, then you need to get your ball.
How do you know I'm not sitting on a ball? It's just a lot smaller.
All right then.
All right, here then. Yeah, like it'd be fun to have a little skill tree get-togethers. At least down in Florida, I have a car. Kit's wife let me borrow her car, but I'm terrified. Because first of all, it's a bigger car than what I'm used to. I'm used to like a normal size car, and she's like an SUV. There are hills here, and I have no idea what the Massachusetts drivers are like. And I'm honestly terrified to drive anywhere other than Florida because I know Florida is such a polarizing like place to drive that I'm terrified
That's
I'm gonna
because
go other
Florida's full
places.
of old people that drive like 3 miles an hour.
Well,
No,
some
they
of them are
don't.
old
Oh
people.
No,
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 you have
they drive
obviously
about
not driven in Southeast Florida.
95,000 miles an hour.
Which part of Florida are you
And
judging that off of?
oh my god.
There
Dude.
are some.
I'm just
There
judging it off
are
old
many
people.
more that are not driving slow at all.
Okay,
The
Florida's
problem is
all straight lines because it's a grid, and the police do not
it's all
care.
grid shaped.
So everyone goes at least 20 miles over the speed limit.
If you're a Floridian, they don't care. If you're out of the state, they're
They see
pulling
your
you over
license
'cause
plate,
you-
they're like,
Yep. If you're out of state, they pulled you over to check the tint of the paint on your car and gave you a ticket.
that's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
free revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
only
I mean,
been,
in fairness, that'll teach you.
man, I've like, me and most of the highway go consistently 90. Me and
Yeah.
most of the normal roads go consistently 60 when it's a 30.
See, I told you you're driving slow.
Man, but like you say that because you ride a bike, but you should see the bikes down here. When you say crotch rocket, like they prove it.
Yeah, it's true.
Like they
It's
go
true.
like I'm going 90. They go fast enough I don't see them. I feel them.
Yeah, they blow past like you're standing still. It's pretty insane.
Sounds about right.
When I used to
Gotta drop
live.
off,
Bye.
Oh.
When I used to live in Davie, which is kind of like halfway, like middle-ish Broward County. I live close enough to the highway, the on-ramp, that people at nighttime would race down Griffin, which is a big enough road, and then get on the on-ramp and race. So you just hear like loud engines blasting down the street.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've people from Massachusetts and New York City, which are the two people, and Chicago, which are people that I consider like dealing with bad traffic and bad drivers. I've had all of them come to Florida and be like Southeast Florida and be like, these people suck.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means I'm just terrified to go drive somewhere else because that's all I know.
I'm one of those that are far more agreeable with letting people borrow my vehicle, but I hate driving other people's vehicles.
Yeah. Also, I've never driven
Hate
on
being responsible for something I don't own that could
Yup.
go just catastrophically wrong. Yeah, I
I
feel
also
that.
like I've genuinely never driven on hills before.
Just slow down when you get to the top.
Good to know.
But only when you get to the top. Because if there's ice and you slow down, you're gonna go back down.
Yep.
It's too many instructions. Already lost. Slow down, but
Yup.
don't slow down, but not the top, but not the top. Yeah, I guess it is getting late. Probably should call it. But I do like the idea of eventually like having a Florida get together. Sounds fun.
I would definitely figure out a way to make a Florida vacation work for a big old skill tree get together. That'd be pretty awesome.
We got two really big airports, although I highly recommend Fort Lauderdale over Miami. Don't go to Miami in any sense of the word.
Having flown into both of them, yes, Fort Lauderdale.
Yup. Fort Lauderdale, 100%. Don't get near Miami Airport. It's it'll
Well,
be
Miami's
cheaper.
an international airport, so there's
So is
just
Fort
all kinds of
Lauderdale.
extra stuff to deal with,
So is Fort
right?
Lauderdale.
Oh,
Fort Lauderdale has its own ports. It has its own international. It's a really big airport. Miami is just awful. It's slightly bigger and a lot
It's
more
almost
awful.
as bad as Atlanta.
Atlanta's a special kind of place.
But Fort Lauderdale's nice. So go to Fort Lauderdale. But since it's international, it's really big. And there's so many other airports near it. So like you can get flights to Miami or not Miami, that's like a 10-minute flight. It's like a 30-minute drive. But you can get flights to Orlando, which is another international airport, for like $25 to $50 sometimes. Which means that you can have access to all of the places that both of those places can go for very cheap.
What would be the time frame? Like, how many days would we be there?
I don't know. I feel like that um it just depends on the people and like what people would want to do and what they would want to budget.
Maddie, Kit says go cuddle the doggo.
I gave him a dedicated hour and a half of cuddling right after I gave him a big walk before this. But yeah, like I'm open to the possibility. It'd be fun. Especially since like we don't tend to do a lot of like in-person skill tree stuff. I think the closest that people get to actually meet us and do stuff is like reckoning or events and stuff. We don't really like, I don't know, like reach out to the community in that way.
Yeah,
Also,
I
it's
can
just
see it
it'd be
working.
nice to have fun and do stuff in Florida instead of just watching other people have fun because all my friends left. Florida's not a place that you also kind of like, I don't know, go out alone. It just feels awkward and weird.
Safety in numbers.
Yeah, safety too, but I don't know. It's just not the crowd for it. They're not very like, I guess they're very like insular. So
It'd also be cool to organize a skill tree group to go to like a convention of some kind.
yeah, or like a Ren Fair or something. Like whenever
Yep.
the Florida Ren Fair is back in, I haven't been to that one in forever. Like we could go to that
Show off a
one.
bunch of stuff that all the people made.
Yeah, that would be fun. Then go to like dinner after, have an itinerary of places to go. Go like
Goofy golf or
kill
bowling.
children in a laser tag.
Ooh, I am down for some laser tag.
I'm down for killing children.
And, like have like split up into teams and
Hey
go into
now.
split up into teams and go into like an escape room and see who gets
Ooh,
out
see who can
first,
get
who gets the best time.
faster. So there's 3 teams already. We got a Grim team, a Maddie team, and a Clever team.
Oh, like we're the leaders of different
The
teams.
Grim team playing laser tag is going to win against the two of them.
Oh, I mean, definitely. We all the military guys are on Grim's team.
No, you have to spread them out. That's
I
not
mean, I
fair.
could be persuaded, I
Well,
guess.
Kit's
What
done
do
like
I get?
paintball for a while too, and also been kind of like instructed in military techniques.
Yeah, you're the
been a
civilian.
I've been the cripple my whole life.
Eh, learn by doing.
I'll just beat your asses in the escape room. My team will crush all of you. We'll get an extra
Ah,
minute for every person you kill in laser tag.
If we're doing the escape room, I got to have my partner in crime, Reva. She's the smart one
I don't know, but you get all the military people in laser tag. Why do you get to choose everyone?
because I'm the gremlin. I cause chaos. You're the good one.
just have coordinated teams. Just handpick people out of the skill tree. There's like, hey, I like you for this and this and this and this and
It's
this.
like,
You got to build your
sorry,
team,
but you're no longer on my team. You were great at laser tag, but you're not the smartest.
right?
We're going on to the escape rooms. I need smart people. It's like,
Oh,
oh.
I
I
think
feel
I've
like
only done like 2
we should
escape
just
rooms.
give Kit all the random people that we don't know anything about and just see what happens.
All the fanboys, fangirls. It was like, they want to be on your team. Here you go. And
Like
they're just, oh, I love you, kid.
I need all
All
the
the
smart
creepy
people
fangirls.
to
Uh
keep me
huh.
from just kicking the door down.
We trap him in the escape room with all the fangirls.
we pay the person extra to like not unlock the door.
He just stays in there for however
Just
long
ignore
until
the
we get out.
screaming.
We go to like those fun like the big arcade thing. We have fun. We go to like the place where like the walls and everything is trampolines. We have fun. We're like, where's Kit? Oh yeah, we forgot him.
He comes out covered in lipstick kisses.
Yup.
He's like, oh god.
His shirt's been torn.
I was like,
No,
what
comes out
happened?
in
I don't want to talk
handcuffs and he's
about
just
it.
telling the
Yeah.
cops, I swear, officer, it was self-defense. They wouldn't get off of me.
I'm married.
That would be funny.
Oh,
We haven't actually come across like fangirls like that for kind of either of us. Like I
Just
get
the fanboys.
yeah, I get like creepy comments in the like whenever I'm on a YouTube video, but honestly not as much as I expected.
it's always that one.
Yeah, like so far they've been like weird but not like predatory feeling. So they're just kind of like
Well, now it's gonna get bad because now it's a notice me senpai at moment.
Oh, see, they know I'll come after them.
If you need backup, let me know.
Just activate the patrons.
See, the only backup Grim is going to need is an alibi.
Well, that's what I mean.
Word.
Yeah. It's
He's been with
interesting.
me the whole time, sir. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we got video proof.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting as we get bigger how the audience changes, because I feel like we have gotten more people that are kind of on the fan side as we've gotten bigger. Like Kit jumps into a chat. I remember I was talking to one person in a chat, and then Kit jumped in to kind of check in and like see what we are talking about. The person's like, "Oh my god, you're him."
All conversation just shuts
Yeah.
down when he joins.
It's so funny too. Cause like he's just a dork. And like I don't know, I've known him for so long. It's hard. I guess it's hard to conceptualize when people see you that way, or to see like people you know that way.
Yeah.
Well,
Introduction.
just got to get y'all to million subscribers, and then we get to watch the fireworks as the weirdos come out of the woodwork.
20 mil, hands down.
Honestly, it'd be kind of funny. I think me and Kid are pretty like secure in ourselves, so it's hard for the like especially like mean comments or weird comments to get to us. Usually we just send them to each other and laugh. It used to bother Kit more, but like we've kind of hardened to them, and they've just always never really bothered me. Um, so it'll be interesting just seeing what humanity offers.
Oh, I have bad experiences.
But yeah, I have bad experiences too when it comes to just like what humanity offers me as a person, just normally. But
I don't know
like
what I did, but the mail hates me.
the mail,
Yep.
yeah. I don't know. Did you piss off like the specific guy who delivers it to your house?
No, because it's been FedEx, it's been UPS, it's been Amazon. Like it took 3 weeks for them to get a bolt of cloth to my town, and then be like, okay, well, we're just gonna send it back now. 3 times.
Yeah, the mail hates you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like everyone just misspells your name slightly.
It's it's so easy. Like it's not it's Andrew Smith. There's no
Whoop.
confusing it.
Like the
I
most
Oh,
generic name
it's
in the world.
it's the one that's shouted out on Patreon.
Mm.
And good luck finding me specifically. There's 100,000 of
Especially since
Andrew
they don't know
Smith.
your face.
Uh
There's only
well,
me.
yeah.
pardon
That's
me
one of
while
the
I take a quick screenshot.
Good luck. I
time for
had
some
a
Yeah.
identity
bunkmate
theft.
in basic who had the exact same name excluding the middle initial. Mine is a W, his was an M.
Well, now
And
he
we looked
knows.
Bro, you're
similar enough.
doxing yourself, Sam.
That's fine. But there's absolutely like complete crossover. They basically said we're not going to try anymore and just gave me all of his stuff, and I had to sort it for us.
Which
Our
I should qualify what I said before. I'm not going to take a screenshot, mostly because I don't care, and anything like that, like too much work. I,
You
I
do it
don't
for
I don't
us.
have the energy for it.
Every once in a
No,
while,
no
Eric
one's
just
gonna
tries to
find it.
find us online to see if it's possible, and then he tells us how so that we can fix it.
Yeah, that I still feel dirty about that with Kit.
I mean, you
Ugh.
helped him for when people who actually would use it would pop up. I did it to Kit
Yeah.
too when because we met online, so we made it a joke where he's like, "I dare you find me." I'm like, "Bet." So I used the IP address of our Dropbox, the subscription, to narrow it down to like the general area as like my first step. And he's like, damn it.
Yeah, I got bored at work the one day, and I was looking up skill tree stuff on Google, and I went down a rabbit hole, not realizing that the ADHD hyperfocus had kicked in and the morality had kicked off. And when I found him, I'm like, crap, how do I tell him I did this so he can fix it and
He's
not
very
sound like an
appreciative of
absolute whack job?
he's very appreciative of it. He brags
just-
about it all the time. He's like, yeah,
Just
my
put a sticky
my
note on his
friend,
front door.
because like neither of us use our real names. At least for internet stuff. Like we've even signed business documents with like our kind of like, I wouldn't say fake names
Nom de
because
guise.
yeah, because like they are names that mean something to us and we chose for a reason and we use kind of in our day-to-day life. They're just not our legal names. And both of us have like a nickname for a different name for our first name, and then we've just invented whole new last names to use on the internet. So good luck. But
I love Fantasy Apprentice in the chat. They're dedicated to stay for the whole stream, but they want to go to bed. So now they're asking if you can end this stream so they can go to bed.
hey, we probably should end it. It's about to get to 9. But it's been nice chatting. Just kind of chill chatting. We didn't get that many questions in the chat, but I think we had some good conversations, especially around like D&D in Florida, which are 2 of my favorite topics.
Talk about alligators.
Yeah. I just find it funny
They're everywhere.
how opinionated people are about Florida. So it's fun, or that they don't conceptualize what it's like here. So it's just fun to like bring it up and be like how hot it is, or how many alligators it is, or like the walls of water that hit you randomly, or just it's just, I don't know. It's an interesting place.
Yeah, I was shocked at reckoning how many few people knew what a hurricane party was.
Oh, I still can't believe the Waffle House was closed.
Yeah, that's like sacrilegious.
It was for maintenance, so like it's still in the categories of the only time they're ever closed, but still.
Isn't there like a government, like
That's
a legitimate government, like
Yes.
Waffle House index?
Yes.
Okay, that I thought so.
All right, I'm gonna call the stream, at least for like actually streaming. We can chat if we want to, but I'm gonna let Fantasy Apprentice go to bed.
Good night, Fantasy Apprentice.
Good night, Fantasy
Just
Apprentice.
for you.
Good night.
Just for you.
Just
We will
for
end the
you.
stream. Good night. All right, let me end it here.